I don't try to preach like anybody because everybody else is taken. Everybody else is taken. Okay, so the same for you. You are who you are. There's a uniqueness, there's a specialness that you have. Everybody else is taken. So you're supposed to do it different. You're supposed to do it different. I've been in the ministry over 30 something years. I've worked with a host of elders. All of them are different. Okay, just feeling the energy from your first elder, his energy is different from all of the other elders that I've worked with. Is that, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I mean, I mean, that's the beauty of what God has given to us. I'm going to also, I'm not going to tell you now, but I'll come to it. There's some handouts that I'll give you to help follow. But I want to start with that point. Is that understand that God has saved you to help save others, and to do it in your unique way. Okay, which means that there are people that your first elder can only reach. Nobody else can reach them in this church for whatever reason, because of where he's located, where he moves them. So the same for you. There are people that you can reach that nobody else in this church is going to reach. Number one, none of the other members may come across them. Okay, you take young adults. They're individuals that he can reach that none of us can reach. I mean, this pandemic has taught us a lot. If you miss what this pandemic has done to the Adventist church, you have missed it. And if you are looking for it to come back to where it was, forget it. Okay, is that a bad thing? No. Okay, the Bible says that we should know the what? The times. Know the times. Okay, if if my generation or the previous generation didn't bring Jesus back, maybe this next generation. Okay, so which means that we have to be open to doing ministry differently. Differently. Yes, yes, I want that old time religion. Okay, get you some, pull out the 8 tracks, the cassettes. I'm just keeping it real. Whatever general CDs, DVDs, YouTube, what have you. That's fine. But we are entering into an age where God is calling the church to do ministry in a completely different way. And to be honest, we're not ready. We're not ready. Well, Pastor, how do you know? Well, we still fighting over music. I mean, it's not salvific. It has its place. There's an importance with it, but it's not salvific. And the age that we are working with, we have to be more flexible. And then as it relates to our young people, we have to empower them. Because if the truth be told, you're not going to like this. They can reach more people than we can with the click. With the click. With the click. One of my sons who's studying law school, he was thinking about ministry. He did a theology degree at Oakwood, did a master's of divinity, and I'm gonna just tell you what he told me. He said, I'm just gonna keep it real. He said, Dad, preachers don't make no money, and I can still work for the Lord and be a lawyer. He said, I can be a good elder. I can preach. I can be a first elder and be more effective. I said, well, you have to roll how you roll. But my son did. He was a professional body trainer, and he amassed almost 15,000 followers. So when the pandemic hit, check this out. When the pandemic hit, I'm in Miami trying to keep the church engaged, keep them connected, even though we couldn't come. And I mean, it was just more challenging to keep everybody caroused. So I decided to, I think it was a Tuesday or Wednesday, I asked him to do a virtual training for like 6 weeks. And I told him to invite, any of his folks that he's training. So, my sensational seniors and, see, the first they were excited, they saw the muscles and he was buff. He was just like ripped. And I got on there, I said, I gave him all my muscles. That's why he is or whatever. But anyway, that first time, I couldn't believe the amount of people that he had on. I said, my church ain't that big. I said, where these people come from? He tagged onto his whatever social media, whatever they do, all of his followers across the country. So now they are tuning in to Miami Bethany's special service, and then we have the other things. But I'm just saying, I could have never done that. Okay, so our younger people, they're gonna roll a little bit different. But if we release them, okay, we have track days and pass out track. That's good. I'll get to that. But some of our folks are not feeling that. Our young people can take that same flyer, put it on their social media. Before we get out of church, they done reach 500 people. We haven't even knocked on one door. And after an hour, it's hot. It's like, whew, you're running for a shade, a tree, or whatever. We'd only reach 20 people. So I'm just saying, I want to start that, just to start off from that vantage point, is to just mention that we have to be open. We have to be open. The traditional way still works, and there's room for that. But we have to expand ourselves. I'm flying out to San Diego next week to do training out there, and that's a different planet. California's a different planet. The folks are all spread out, and I do Zoom meetings with the Bible workers every 2 days a week, live, just to check and verify this, that, and the other. And they said, Pastor, this ground is challenging. So I shared some things they needed to do, but it's challenging everywhere. So I want to begin right here that we have to understand we are at the end of time. We're closer than you think. Okay, and I'm going to share with you why in just a minute. Let me just make sure I got this together here. Okay, the Bible says, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So likewise, when you see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. Even at the door. If you want to just magnify that, think about life before the pandemic. We never saw this coming. And the Pen of Inspiration says that the last events will be, look how this pandemic unfolded. Shut down. Not just Florida. A little virus. And we are still wrestling with it. It's not over. Yeah, yeah, it's not over. It's not over. Not over. Not over. Not over. Okay. Okay. He's coming. He coming. The last time was as a baby, as a crucified Savior. When he comes back again, conquering King. Conquering King. Revelation 19:11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. It's lining up, folks. It's lining up. Then verse 6, and he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. And we know, we look forward to the second coming. We look forward to it. We live for it. We live for it. We live for it. As a pastor for 30-something years, the hardest part of what I do, it's not the church, it's funerals. That's where my struggle is. When you have to say goodbye to the mothers of the church and the fathers of the church and the children, and it is a struggle. But this gives me hope, because it's not goodbye. It's simply see you later. See you later. Let me go on quickly. I keep hitting the wrong button here. This is where we are. We're closer. Objects in the mirror are closer than it appears. All of us have a car, and they have that little mirror on there, and it makes it look further, but it's really closer. It's closer. It's closer. It's closer. It's closer. Then the thing is, this is what we have to understand. There are two types of knowledge. There's theoretical knowledge and experiential knowledge. There's a difference. There's a difference. There is a difference. Okay, there is theoretical knowledge, experiential. It's like we can be in the same class and we learn, and then they take it to another level. They take it to another level. They take it to another level. Theoretical knowledge is theory. It's theory. It's speculation. It's hypothetical in nature. For example, you take the Sabbath school lesson. For some folks, it's just theoretical. Okay, but the thing is, knowledge is good. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is good. Theoretical knowledge is good. Is good. But let me move on quickly to the next one. Experiential knowledge is based on experience. It's real. It's genuine. It's genuine. A whole lot of folks know a whole lot, but they don't know the master. You can know a whole lot of doctrines, whole lot of Bible, and you still don't know Jesus. Okay? Now there's a difference, because even as you operate in the church, there's a difference, because if you know Jesus, you will treat I'm not going to look at anyone. I'm looking at the chandeliers. You treat everybody the same. Okay. Every time I go to a new church, day one when they introduce me, I lay down the ground rules. I come in, I say, I don't have any favorites. I don't know any of you all. I said, let me just let you know how I do ministry. Number one, I'm not the type of pastor where you come and dump trash on me. Okay. I tell them day one, first message. I lay it. I said day one. I said if you call me with some gossip, I'm going to tell you to come on over here to the trash can and put it in there. And matter of fact, if you call me about someone, I'm going to call who you talking about and tell them that you call me. Guess what? I've been at Bethany almost 4 years. Don't nobody call me about no. They don't call me. They don't call me talking about, because just last week, one of my elders was doing some training and probably got happy and shared something when he learned in another church. And he was concerned that someone had called me. And he didn't know, I was online listening, so it wasn't that deep. And, so he said, Pastor, we were concerned because we thought somebody had called you. I said, no. I said, don't nobody call me. Oh, so this is the first time you, I said, no, I was online. I heard you. I said, you were sharing your experience. Wasn't that deep? Oh, but I thought maybe someone to call. I said, don't nobody call me. Don't nobody call me to tell on somebody else. I'm just not, I don't roll like that. So the thing is, there's a difference. Experiential knowledge is when you put it into practice. I told him day one, I said, I don't operate in cliques. Don't operate in cliques. I understand that you have your friends that you grew up with and you like being around and this, that, and the other. I said, but for me as a pastor, I'm the pastor for everyone. Pastor for everyone. So I don't, I can't be bought. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough money. Now you rolled out $1 million. Let's talk. Let's have a talk. Let's have a talk. But you just talking about $10. You can't buy no one $10 a day. But anyway, and you have that. So experiential. The other thing is, good example, Nicodemus had come to the Lord thinking to enter into discussion with him. That's what that was his, he wanted to come and have a theological debate to talk about how much he knew about this, that, and the other. But guess what? But Jesus laid bare the foundation principle of truth. He said to Nicodemus, it is not theoretical knowledge you need so much as spiritual regeneration. That's a prime example of theoretical knowledge up against experiential knowledge. So that is found in Desire Ages, page 171, first paragraph. Just quickly. What food is to the body, Christ must be to the soul. Food cannot benefit us unless we eat it. I mean, that plate they set in front of me, I could have just drool over it. Wow, that is some awesome, the beans and rice and all that. Oh, it was this. But if I never ate it, it wouldn't have given me the strength that I need. Food cannot benefit us unless we eat it, unless it becomes a part of our being. So Christ is of no value to us if we do not know him as a personal Savior. What's this button? A theoretical knowledge will do us no good. No good. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay. Now let me just go somewhere. Let me take you back to something that you're familiar with. This is just to just give you a real situation. We all know about what happened in 1844. Okay. Now to understand how serious they were, get this. You got to get this one, man. In 1844, they thought Jesus was coming back. They really, truly believed that. Okay, you don't believe me? If you go back and read the history, some of them sold their houses. How much more serious can you get? You selling your house, which means you're not planning on, we up out of here. We up out of here. They was, so they were serious. And we're talking about theoretical knowledge. Okay. And let me go back a minute. So they misinterpreted. Okay. They missed that Jesus was moving from the holy place to the most holy place. Okay, as minute as that was important. That was important. That was important. That was important. That was an important point. They had the theoretical knowledge, but because of lack of interpretation and so on, so they missed it. Okay, well, Pastor, why would you share that? Is that you can be up in church and still go to hell. Okay, just gonna keep it real. Okay, they were serious, but they missed it. I mean, you go sell your house, that's a serious decision. Ain't no coming back from that one. You up on the hillside and you waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Not only that, when he didn't show up, think about the embarrassment. You just sold your house with the swimming pool, your dream house, all your furniture. You sold a house with everything in it, and somebody else up in it now. Up in there all the way. The sun is setting. And the Lord don't come. What you going back to? So all I'm saying, you can have all the knowledge and miss it. Okay? Okay. Now let me go here just to bring it up to where we are. I saw that many were neglecting the preparations so needful, and were looking to the time of refreshing and the latter rain to fit them to stand in the day of the Lord and to live in his sight. Oh, how many I saw in the time of trouble without a shelter. They had neglected the needful preparation. You know, if you're not careful, church will put you to sleep to the times. And you forget what the main thing is. Keep the main thing the main thing. And I share with you at the very beginning what the main thing is to populate heaven and to depopulate hell. That's the main thing. That's the purpose. That's the purpose of this building. That's the purpose of this building. That's the purpose of each of you is to be a beacon of light wherever you go. Okay? Let me just move quickly. A form of godliness will not save any. All must have a deep and living experience. And you can't wait till you get on your deathbed. When the doctor gives you that news that you don't like. No, you got to do it now. Now. Okay, and I just gave you this. This just gives a breakdown of the seven seals. And I don't have time, but each of those 7 churches represents how should I say that? Each of those churches represents a behavior that each of those churches represented. Okay. I don't have time, but it also, if you follow it, it spans to the end of time. Okay, so it is prophetic. It is also in the sense of letting you know different generations all the way to the end. So they has like 2 or 3 different interpretations. I don't have time, but I just put it there. But also it represents your personal life. Wow. Okay, for example, Ephesus represents what? First love. When you first came in the church, the fire was burning. Can't do no wrong. I love Jesus. And then you move on from Ephesus to Smyrna and you accept Jesus. But guess what? Trials come in your life. Everybody here can testify the excitement that we have when we accepted Jesus. And all of us here have experienced trials. And then we move on to Pergamos. We hadn't always been on fire, if we're honest. There's been times that we have cooled off. Even though we're still in church, you cooled off. See, it's not just your presence that says, you know, your presence can be here, but you can still be Pergamos. Compromise. And then Thyatira, apostasy. We didn't leave the church because we were scared. We were just scared because our parents or whoever taught us, just, you know, almost, you know, like I said, you could be lost in church. You know, you can leave the church and never leave the church, if I can say that. Okay, then you move on from Thyatira to Sardis, which is hypocrisy. Okay, you're back in the church, but you just here. You know, church is just another appointment on our schedule. This is where I come on Saturday. That's what it is. It's an appointment. Okay, and we have to understand that when you come to church, you're not coming to hear the preacher. You're not coming here to see a man. You're coming to see God. God's presence is here. And I didn't mention it, but the thing is, the reason the Sabbath is special. Oh, there's a whole sermon on that. Oh man, I don't have time. But let me just say this: the reason the Sabbath is special, not just because He made it holy, He blessed it, but also when you go to the Hebrew language, God occupies the Sabbath hours like no other hours. Okay, let me explain it to you. In Eastern culture, time is something that's a part of them. Okay, give me an example. My wife and I went to Israel a couple of times. Went to Israel, and you know, I've been a Sabbath keeper a long time. But when you go to Israel, your eyes are open to another level of Sabbath keeping. Okay, good example. On Sabbath, you're in the hotel, and they even have it. One of the hospitals here on Sabbath, you know, the stops at every door. They can't push a button because it's work. It's work. So you know, even the elevators keep the Sabbath. You ain't got to push the button. You know, because for a Jew, it's work. So they take it to another level. Then I remember we was there on their holiest day. What is that? There you go, right there. What is it? Yom Kippur. Folks, let me tell you, I was there. Now, all that week, cars everywhere in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, everywhere. On the Sabbath, on that holiest day, I was in the middle of the street. I got pictures walking down the middle of the street. It was just like all the shops are closed. Everything until the sunset. And all I'm saying is, yes, they take it to another level, but what I'm saying as Sabbath keeper, we need to step up our game. We need to step up our game because the Sabbath, God occupies it. Okay, Sunday through Friday, He's with us. But in the Sabbath, He gets in that day, that time period. That's why my sister was talking about the Sabbath. It's special. It ain't just, well, you know, I keep the Sabbath. You know, this is God's time. He occupies it in a special way. Let me move on quickly. I don't want to stop there. And then you have Philadelphia, and the return, and then Laodicean. And in the time span, this is where we are. Laodicean. Laodicean is that God is saying, I just want to spit you out. That's what it's, when you look at it, he's saying your worship, your praise just makes me nauseated. That's what the church is. Okay, and this is where the church is. So you can imagine, hear me, where the world is. This is the church. This is the church. This is John the Revelator talking about the church, that it got to the place where God just wanted to just throw up, if I can say it that plainly. Okay. Now check this out. If you want to understand even better how God feels in chapter 1, elder, check it out. In chapter 1, you can go there and read it. It says Jesus is in the midst of the 7 candlesticks. It's right in the scripture. Where is the 7 candlesticks? Inside the sanctuary. By the time you get to chapter 3, he's 3:20. He's what? Now what happened? He was inside the church around the 7 candlesticks, which is inside the church. And by the time you get to Laodicean, he's outside the church. Wow. That's where he is. That's where he is. Okay, time is running out. Okay, it's running out on two fronts. Hear me. It's running out on 2 fronts. First of all, God has his end game. God has his timetable. But also on the other front is, you don't know when your last breath is. You waiting for the time of trouble? You waiting for the Sunday blue law? You don't know when that lasts. You see, God has his timetable, but the one I'm really concerned about, that's the one you better be concerned about, because you can be perfectly healthy and your heart can stop. Case in point just comes to my mind. Thank you. We run an evangelistic meeting in Columbus, Ohio. And we had baptized, I think probably about 90 people. And my head usher, every night, inviting her grandkids, her kids who had, strayed away. And she was just being faithful at the door, usually the last person to leave. I would see her when I would leave. And her grandkids, about 4 of them, made a decision Friday night to be baptized the next day. Follow me now. The next day, I see the grandkids, see all the folks that are about to get baptized, and I didn't see my head usher. So I could see the grandkids, looking for grandma, and they kept looking, turning around, knowing they calling, can't get through. We go ahead and baptize. We baptized probably about 15 or 20 people that day. They were somewhat disappointed. We finished and the phone is ringing, and I never answer the phone on Sabbath. I let it go to I just let it go to because usually there's somebody that want to ride. I can't go pick them up. I can't preach. I can't open the door. I can't lock up, and I can't drive the van all at the same time. So Spirit just told me to answer it, and it was it was the police department, and said that, so-and-so has passed. And I go silent because I just saw her that night, the night before, at the door. And my heart just drops. And her kids are here. And the grandkids are here because they hadn't heard from her. So from church, guess where they went? To go check on the grandmother. She had slipped away and passed. So they asked me to come, and I go over there. And it was just sad. Now, it was so sad because she had a cat, and it was as though the cat knew something was wrong. No, I'm serious. The cat was just, you could just see the terror as something. I don't know what it was, but it was as though, but the thing about it is, and I say that to say, someone that is faithful was at the meeting every day, and you can imagine the joy she had that night when her grandkid and also some of her children came back to the church. She's at the door, and then the next morning, she's gone. And just think the next face she see will be Jesus. But not only Jesus, to discover that her kids made it in the nick of time. Her grandkids. So time is winding up. This world, I'm telling you folks, you think the worst has happened? Bible says it's going to wax what? Worse and worse. Okay? If over in the West Coast, devastation. On the way here, driving an hour here from Miami, getting calls, individuals that I know, can your church, bring food, bring gas. We don't know where any centers are. We don't know where anything is. The conference is getting ready to do whatever they're going to do, but we need it, so we may go tomorrow, pack up my truck and just take whatever, but I'm saying it was them this week. Next week, it can be us. When you look at the devastation on the news and to imagine what had happened, it could happen right here. Okay. Let me go quickly. Time is winding up. Got to go to the Word of God. And eventually we have the second coming. And of course, because of the cross, He covers us. Let me just put this in your hand right quick. How should I do this? Yeah, let me give you this. Hand me this side. As they pass this out, the last slide in this presentation, in Great Controversy, page 678, the Bible says, the great controversy is ended. Sin and sinners are what? No more. The entire universe is what? Is clean. All declare that God is what? Is love. And I shared this with you just to set the stage for the work that God is calling for you and your church to do. And I understand you all are in total church involvement. Okay. What does that mean? It means that everybody. When we ran the meeting when Carlton Bird came, I had just got to the church. Literally, I got there in March, and Dr. Bird was coming in August. And the church was saying, well, Pastor, we're not ready. And I said to them, I said, unpack that for me. What do you mean that you're not ready? I said, let me just make it, let me just help you to be real. I said, when the next time will you think we can get Dr. Bird to come back? That's number one. Okay, if we just stop right there, I'm ready. So then they said, well, we gotta, you know what we do when we don't feel that we ready. Well, what is it? What do you need to get ready for a meeting? Okay, they got the date in August. It's March. Okay. Well, we got to put teams together. I said, I haven't been here but a couple of weeks, but if it's the same thing like other churches, the same people do all the work. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, every church I've been to, usually it's the same people that do the work. I said, I don't know any of you all. I just, I was new, so I didn't care. I was just out there. It was like, I said, if it's like my previous church, I was up in Ohio 30. I said, this is the same people do all the work in all the churches. So who are we talking about who not going to be ready? Because the people that work, no matter what the Lord asked them to do, they're going to figure it out. You all decided to have a meal today. Do you think somebody else showed up and cooked that meal? No, for real. I promise you, it's the same people. Who cleaned up? I promise you, it's the same people. No, I don't even know you all, but I promise you, the same people that cleaned up are the same people that cooked. Pastor, how you know? You don't know us like that. So how you not? Tell me how you're not gonna be ready. Some of them, they can't even get over here because they still cleaning up. But all I'm saying is, I told them, I said, well, what we got to do? I said, let me just break it down. I said, this is what I said, to organize the team. If I call for the ushers to serve, what they got to go to class? They got to go to college? What the ushers got to get ready for? Just tell people you sit there. I said, well, it's gonna be so many people, you ain't gonna have you have to try to find a seat yourself. So I said, what? I said, just keep it. What we gotta do to get ready? I mean, I want you to tell me. Well, Pastor, we just been through too much. I said, I started laughing. I said, been through too much. I said, everybody been through too much. So anyway, we went to work, planned everything, put it together, this, that, and the. I said, I promise you, when the meeting starts, I promise you personally, as your pastor, you will be ready. You will be ready. Everybody gonna be in place. Everybody gonna be in place. Everybody gonna be. I promise you. Well, Pastor, you just got here. I said, I don't need to be here a long time to know you all. We can get to know each other while we're working together, while we get ready. And sure enough, as we got closer, it was the same people. It was the same ushers. It was the same elders, the same people. And then, of course, because Dr. Bird was coming, the folks that wanted to be a part of something big, when Donnie McClurkin showed up and all them folks. But it was awesome. So after the meeting, when he left, we baptized 110 people. Okay. And then I said, well, there's some fruit still out there, and we got another 40 by the end of the year. I said, now, folks, I want all those that say we weren't going to be ready to stand up. Nobody stood up. For example, if you all had a meeting tomorrow, I promise you all would be ready. It ain't that deep. It's really not that deep. Why? The same people, whoever's going to open the church, is going to be here to open the church. So, we create this nothing. Okay. So that's that. Let me just close out this. Let me see if this is the last one. Yeah, even yeah. You can move to the next one, which is building a team. But you have your handout. As he changes that, I put this in your hand. Okay, this is critical. Everything you do rise and falls on this. Okay. Now he said, Pastor, why you say that? You see, some of us we think I gotta know a whole lot to do Bible work. Gotta know this, gotta know this, gotta have a degree, gotta have a certificate. No, you don't. You just gotta know some people. If you know some people and reach them, you're effective. Okay, right here. But this is the key. Prayer is the answer to every problem in life. It puts us in tune with the divine wisdom, which knows how to adjust everything perfectly. So often we do not pray in certain situations because from our standpoint, the outlook is hopeless. Let me stop right there. As a child of God, hear me. How do I say this? We have to stop looking through our lenses. Your lenses are limited. Your lenses are shaded. Because sometimes before we even pray, we done shut heaven's storehouse closed because of our lenses. We already decide what God can do, what he can't do, what he might do. God is able to do great things. Let me give you an example. You know, sometimes you try to do, Lord places something on your heart. A couple of things at my present church, bright idea, I get these bright ideas and I bring them back. And they'll just look and say, all right, Pastor, I had this bright idea. I was in the Dominican Republic and an organization had sponsored a church to help build a church. So now follow me. At this dedication in this new building, I'm sitting there and they bring up several generations of people of this family. This older gentleman was probably in his 80s or 90s. He bought the land maybe 40 or 50 years ago, hoping to build a church. Bought the land. Then you had the next generation that were trying to navigate, couldn't find enough money. They started the building, a few little bricks, and then it just sat there. So another 20 years went by. And then the next generation, they tried to raise money, but just couldn't get it off the ground. And then you could see the weeds and the whatever you did was already destroyed or what have you. So the president of that conference comes up with an idea that the conference would pay a third, the church would pay a third, and then he would seek out a sponsor in the United States to cover the other third. So, I'm sitting there, and now I'm sitting in a finished church. So I'm looking around, everything is brand new. And this is what touched me. The gentleman that bought the land, he just broke down in tears. He said, I thought I would never live to see this. That now his great, great, great grandkids are in the church. So I'm sitting there, I said, wow. I said, this would be a good idea to take back to Bethany. So I said, let me take it back. So I come back and share the concepts with my elders first. And, I'm listening. I said, any comments? And one of my elders said, Pastor, we're here in Miami. In Brownsville, we need to do something. I said, we're doing something. He said, yeah, but to take money and put it in another country, I don't really see light in that. I said, well, I said, that's a good point. But the point of it is that we are doing a lot in Brownsville. We had two during the pandemic. We had outdoor church. We gave away on one Sabbath. We had a food drive, and we gave away $20 gas card. 100. We had 100 people, 100 gas cards, $2,000. And folks was getting food. We got it from Farm Share, and then we had our ministry, our prayer leaders. They had a booth and literature and what have you, and we did that. And I remember this one gentleman. He said, "Pastor, I ran out of gas way down there." I said, "Can I still get my gas card?" I said, "Man, I don't know if you got a car." He said, "Oh, Pastor, if you come and help me push it." Oh no, I believe you. I'm gonna send one of my deacons, and they came and pushed it. But you do this type of thing to reach the community. So I shared. He said, "Oh, Pastor, I never thought about that." He said, "We give away food every month. Okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. We gave away book bags for every year. We do this." He said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Why can't we do both?" I said, "At the end of the day," I told my elder, I said, "Let me tell you, when I make the appeal, guess what? The same people that give for everything else are going to be the same people that are going to give." It's the same way with work. The same people that do all the work going to do the work. The same people that give, no matter what the cause is, if they see light in it, they're going to give. So I said, "Okay, folks, we're going to raise $5,000, and the church will match it." So I had took it to the board. They went for it. Then I said, "Well, let me take it to the business meeting because of the amount of money." Took it to the business meeting, had a virtual meeting, and I'm on the business meeting, casting the vision about what we're going to do, trying to do. One of the members, she said, "Well, Pastor, you're trying to raise what?" I said, "Well, we're going to raise 5,000 from whoever wants to give in the churches." And she said right there on the phone, "I'll give 5,000. Guess what? I dropped the mic. I dropped it on the pew, so it's not broke. Okay. We talking about he got to pay for that before he leave. We're gonna take his honorarium. He ain't getting no honor. We're gonna buy 2 mics with that. But anyway, she said right there, "I'm gonna get $5,000." And I said, "Whoa!" And it's somebody you wouldn't even assume, but she's always faithful. Then other members gave. Everybody didn't give. And then when we raised in contribution in the month of August only. I said, "We're not going to stretch it out. You got 1 month to give." Because at the end of the day, if you're going to give, you're going to give. Why stretch it out? 4 months, 5 months? No. 1 month, August. And at the end of the month, the members pitched almost $10,000. So the total was $14,000. So I said, when we go in November the 3rd, we'll go there. The church will be finished. We'll dedicate it. Bethany's names will be there. As a result, folks will be saved. So all I'm saying is that prayer, you got to take off your lenses. So often we do not pray in certain situations because from our standpoint, the outlook is hopeless, but nothing is impossible with God. Nothing is so entangled that it cannot be remedied. No human relationship is too strained for God to bring about reconciliation and understanding. No habit so deep-rooted that it cannot be overcome. No one is so weak that he cannot be strong. No one is so ill that it cannot be healed. No mind is so dull that it cannot be made brilliant. Whatever we need, if we trust God, he will do what? If anything is causing you worry or anxiety, let us stop rehearsing the difficulty and trust God for healing, love, and power. Hold on to this, put it somewhere, and it will help you. Now let me just move to I set the stage. I set the environment that we are in. It is in difficult time, but now we want to build a team. Okay, you all don't have a pastor, but you can still build a team. So when the pastor show up, guess what? You had a team. Okay. Well, why wait? He'll come with his tweaks and his whatever to tighten it up and what have you. But the team will already be in place. I mean, to show up at a church and it'd be like, "Ooh, they want to do a meeting? They want to do a meeting? And I just got here. Let's go." When I went to Lighthouse, The thing is about Lighthouse, boy, they were every year they wanted to do evangelism. I said, that's my kind of church. That's my kind of church. And I'm American. I'm American. And then when the conference got ready to move me, and you talking about a Jamaican church, them jokers started fighting. Because before I got there, they was telling Pastor Mac, you sent us an American pastor. It didn't work. So now it's time for you to give us a Jamaican pastor. And I'm straight from the hood. I'm just American all the way. So Pastor Mac, with all my experience, he sends me to Lighthouse, and and the elders we met, this, that, and the other. But then when they got ready to move me, they had literally voted on a Sunday after a year to move me. The church rose up and said, we ain't having it. Why are you taking our pastor? And Pastor Matt called me. He said, what you been feeding them? He said, you American. The Jamaicans don't fight for Americans. They wanted. I said they demanded a Jamaican pastor, and here they are. They threatening me. I said, man, I just do my work. I said, in God's eye, there's no culture. They're just people. They're just people. I mean, they got serious. They said, okay, Pastor, I need you to just step away because we got to roll up our sleeves with the conference. And I was ministerial director, youth director, so I knew what that meant. I said, look, and they called a business meeting. I said, usually, I don't allow anyone to call a business meeting, while I'm the pastor. And, I talked with my elder. I said, Pastor, we just need you to empower us to have this meeting, okay? And we know you can't be involved because that's your employer. So I said, well, I need to know the agenda at least. At least let me know. This would be, you just turn over the keys. It'd be like, I might not have a job when this is over. I said, for you gonna keep rolling, but I'll be broke, busted, and disgusted. I'll be unemployed, and you all say, well, he was good. So be it. Oh well. No, I don't. So I said I need to know the agenda. So he shared with me, what they were going to be dealing with, and he mentioned that they were talking about holding the tithe. I said, oh Lord Jesus. I said I don't agree with that under any circumstances. He said, Pastor, just empower us to have the meeting. I said, yeah, but I said, when I was in the conference for 8 years, and I said, it's just hard for me to get to that one because the tithe is just holy, So I'm wrestling with it, and I said, well, how long you plan to hold it? That's what they said. Well, I said, until they come here and meet with us. Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, sometimes at the church, you're trying to get answers and it's silent. It's silent. So I got to be honest, church. I was very reluctant. I mean, I just don't. This is in my mind. Just the way I am, very traditional. I said, y'all go ahead and handle it, and because I'm sure once they get word y'all holding the tithe, they get here real soon and so on. So anyway, they held it. So Pastor Matt called and said, I said, look, man, I said, they just want you to come here. They just want you to come here. I said, I don't know. I said, I don't care. I said, they just want to talk. I said, you owe them that. I said, you run everywhere else, run here. I said, well, I said, don't roll up on me like that. I'm not the one, because I have options. I have a doctorate degree. I have options. I can make twice as much as I make. I have options. He said, but they fighting for you. I said, well, if you're a part of a church and things are going so well, why wouldn't they fight for you? Yeah, but you're American. They don't, that's it. That last American pastor, they gave him, they gave him. I said, well, that's his problem, ain't none of mine. So they come down. They even said, this is what they said. We need the president. We want the secretary and the treasurer, and bring that ministerial director. That's just what they said. They said, come with all four. So they roll up in there. I just knew I was unemployed after that meeting. I'm praying. I said, Lord, just do what you're supposed to do. And the meeting was over. I wasn't nowhere. I was at home. I wasn't going nowhere near that because anyway, Pastor Matt calls me after the meeting. He said, and they had voted for me to go to Tampa, to the big church. That's what they told them. Well, we voted for him to go to the executive committee. We voted for him to go to a big church. Well, why would you send our pastor to a big church when he's making us big? So Pastor Max said he asked them, he said, what is it about Dr. Burden? And this came from one of the elders. He said, this pastor, I shouldn't tell you what they said, but we family. You're not going to tell on me? It's always one. It's always one up. But this is what they said. He said, this pastor has done, I don't think it was kind, but he said, this pastor has done more than all the pastors put together. So that's what he said. I said, wow, that's deep. I mean, because all churches have pastors that and he said, well, what has he done? He said, well, we baptized 100 in a meeting with $7,500 that you gave us. That's what he told us. He said, you gave us $7,500. He took it and he multiplied it, and we baptized over 100 people. He redid the pulpit. He redid everything in the church. You can see it's been changed. Now, why would we let you take him? So anyway, Pastor Matt calls me. He said, Doc, he's stuttering. So I knew already what had happened. They had put a good whooping on. They just. So he said, I'm going to need you to stay put. I'm going to need you to stay put. Well, Doc, I said, I thought you just voted. I said, the folks from Tampa already called me. My wife and I had already put a deposit on a house. You said that I had 6 weeks or whatever it is so we understand the game. So I said, you gotta make me whole. So they did whatever, but the point of it is that no matter where you are, it is the church that makes the church. Okay? The church makes the church. What am I saying? You make the church. You want a good church? You be a good member. Oh yeah. You want a good church? You be a good member. And those that make the church bad, the good members got to check them. Okay, got real quiet. See, sometimes we tolerate stuff that shouldn't be tolerated because of who people are. No, you got to check that stuff because it impacts bringing people in the church. Okay, that's what it does. Okay, and I'll cover that. Let me go quickly. So hold on to this powerful. Oh man, we about to take a journey now. I have a copy of this PowerPoint. I think I have about 20, but I'll give it to you later. I'll give it to you later at the end, and we'll let the first elder y'all beat him up on who's gonna get it. Okay. Okay, let me go quickly. Now this is where, and you can run it off. You can run it off. Make some more. Okay. Psalms, okay, this is building a team. And this is what the training, you got to get this. It's going to be a little bit different than some of y'all looking for a manual. And no. All you got to do is know some people. If you know people, you can reach them. You can reach them. Okay, there are people that believe in you. There are people that you go get your hair done there. You go get your nails done. You get your car, all that stuff. Those are people. Those are people. And all you got to do is expose them. Case in point, in Bethany, during the pandemic, I told you I get bright ideas. I decided that I was going to redo the pulpit. And I did it. I got to confess, I'm in church. I didn't get permission. I know that's not good. I hope next pastor don't try that, because some people end up on a cross. But anyway, it was on the pandemic. Nobody was here. So they had carpet. And Bethany, those of you that have been to Miami Bethany, huge, and they had blue carpet. And I said, man, this carpet is wearing. I said, and some reason, Elder, I said, I wonder what's under there. No, I was wondering what was under there, because in my mind, I'm just saying, a church built in the 60s and looking at the ceiling that was similar to you all, I said, maybe, just maybe, there's a wood floor under there. So I went to the corner and I took a knife. No, I cut it where nobody would see it. They wouldn't go. Because you had pew, choir. So I cut it. I wanted to see. And folks, it was oak wood under there. But I said, it's in the pandemic. This is at the beginning. It's going to be a long time before they get back. It's going to be a long time before they get back. So, of course, I had to talk with my first elder. My first elder is a female. So I shared with her, and she grew up in the church, born in the church. I said, what's up under that rug? I don't know. I said, maybe we should just open it up. I don't know, Pastor. They said, folks are very traditional. I said, well, if I use my own money, they can't use that against me. So anyway, I got a few folks and we took the pews. We took them across the street to the annex, put them in my truck. I have a truck. The Lord told me, you go to a pastor need a truck so you can do stuff and you don't have to ask nobody because you got the truck. Right, so I got this truck. Lord gave me this Tundra. So I got my treasure and a couple of young people, and we got the pews and put them on the back of the truck and took them to the annex. Yes, we did, ma'am. Yes, we did. I know you probably put me on a cross, but we wait to the end of the story. So we pulled the carpet up, and it was an oak floor. Okay, but it wasn't prestige. It had some water damage. So we hired someone to strip it all down. And he did, he was God sent, and he hooked up everything, and it looked awesome. So, but I was doing Virtue, the tech team, and they could see with the light. I was down here, and the members said, they said, Pastor, something look different. I said, no, that's just the background. It's the background. It's just the background. That wasn't a lie, for it was the background. It was the background. And he said, whatever that is, it looks real good. So the words start. Then, of course, you have board meeting. The question came, how much did it cost? So I said, ask the treasurer. He on the phone. I said, treasurer, is anything on the? He said, no. I said, well, how I get done? They said, I don't know. I said, Lord moves in mysterious ways, don't he? But anyway, make a long story short, if you look online and see the church at the beginning to the end, I have it on my iPad, but it looks, everybody, the president came down, he said, wow. Okay. So sometimes normally, you take it through the process, what you should do. But because I have 37 years, I try a couple of things. Because even if I get fired, I'm good. I'm at retirement if I need to be. And I don't really need their money. You don't get to retirement and try to figure out how you're going to retire and you're going to have enough money. It's too late. So at my age, I'll try some things. I'll take a chance, and it's always my money. But anyway, the point of it is that we want to build a team. And this is the part that you have to get. Let me just move quickly here. Psalms 156. Let everything that have breath praise the Lord. Okay, what does that mean? If you breathe in, you're supposed to praise the Lord. Okay, so that is the starting point of reaching people. If you are breathing, you are supposed to praise the Lord. Now, remember also, everyone is different. Everyone is different. Everyone is different, which means you're going to praise them differently. Which means you're going to reach people differently. Okay, the young adults and the young folks, they will use social media. Okay, if you have a meeting here, you may have 50 people here, but you may have 150 online. And then because it's on social media, it's recorded and they can go back. So you go back there in a couple of days, now you have 600 people that watched it. And because the message was so awesome and you was touched, 10 people that need to hear that sermon. So what do? You share it. So now, because you don't want to be confined to these buildings, you have other avenues. Okay? Let me tell you what I did. You're not going to believe me. The Lord does some strange things. When Pastor Bird was running the meeting, I'm the type of pastor, I ain't gonna let no Bible worker that's visiting outdo me. Ain't no visitor gonna outwork me. When I train pastors, I train them. I said, this is the key to success. Don't let any member in the church outwork you. Because if they can outwork you, they can criticize you and tell you what to do. So when I went to Lighthouse, which is predominantly 90% Jamaican, none of them gonna outwork me. And if you can't outwork me, you can't tell me what to do. So they couldn't say, well, he wasn't here. No, when this was happening, he was here. He was here. He was the first one here, the last one. When you outwork folks, what they gonna say? Okay, so Dr. Bird ran his meeting. Bible workers come in, had 8 of them. They had teams. We rented vans. They was all over Miami. I said, I can't let these visitors outwork me. So what I did, Pastor Bird needed a baptismal pool. So we went and bought a swimming pool at Walmart. And you always keep flyers. Had all these flyers. Dr. Bird always thinks big. Everything is big. And he had all these flyers. And I said, if we don't get rid of these flyers, they're going to be around the church like in-gather material. Yeah. Somebody know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I was at Walmart, Elder, and the Spirit just said, let me put a flyer in every basket in the parking lot. Just walking around, throwing it in the basket that people, they take out. Just because I knew in my mind, at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to come get those baskets and going to have to do what? Get them out. Okay. Fast forward it. We in the meeting. This young guy, probably about 27, comes in. We took his name. He said, I need to see the pastor. So I said, yeah, okay. So I go and Dr. Bird was busy. He said, yeah, I'm here because this meeting is awesome. I said, well, how did you hear about it? He said, Pastor, it's funny that you asked. He said, I work at Walmart. And somebody that attached to your meeting, I don't know who it was, they put a flyer in every basket. I said, man, who would do something like that, man? Who would do something like that? He said, but man, I would have never made it here. And he was there every night. At the end of the meeting, he made a decision to get baptized. And I decided to confess my sins. After he got baptized. He did a splash. And I said, brother, I'm the one. I'm the corporate. He said, man, I am so glad that you did that. He said, I invited 3 of my coworkers from a flyer. So all I'm saying, don't underestimate the various ways that are at your fingertip. For example, the floor, the gentleman, this Hispanic guy, he did the floor. He was there every day. So I invited him virtually to our services because I knew he wasn't coming in the building. There's people, they're not coming up in this building. He was on our service virtually for about 2 months listening to the word. I invited him as my personal guest. And he was on and so on. So the point of it is, if you breathing, you are breathing, aren't you? Anything that resembles death should be buried. Okay, remember what I said is your uniqueness. Everybody's different. Keep that locked right here because you're not going to do it the same. Quickly. What did I do? Help me. Something has happened. I pushed something on this thing that I shouldn't have pushed. I got that push. There we go. Okay, let me go back. Yeah. Okay. That's the reason we do what we do. The pierced hands of Jesus. When you get discouraged, just get a glimpse of what he did. When you're going through hell and high waters, when you feel you can't go on no more, when you said, I just had enough, the blood. Just remember that picture of what he went through. You and I can never go through anything near. Okay. This is why we're here. Because he saved us. And then he's given us the word. Now, I've talked to several of you all. Some of you all ate at my table. You thought I was just asking you questions to get to know you. I was casing you out. Always on the hunt. And all I'm saying is when you're around people, lock into them. Ask about what they do. How long you been at this church? See, if they had said, well, that told me they didn't like the church. So I'm listening. I'm able to read. So I'm saying that is when you come around people at your work, you can ask just general questions that has nothing to do about the Lord. Like the gentleman that was doing the floor. I would show up, man, that's awesome. And he said, Pastor, this is a lot of work. I said, he's trying to get paid some more money, isn't he? I said, ain't no more money. You agreed on that. But anyway, the point of it is I'm asking them questions, showing the interest, and then eventually I'm looking for an angle. Looking for an angle. Not for him to join my church. That's not my goal. My goal is to introduce him to that's the end game right there. I introduce him to Jesus. Jesus will bring him along the journey. Okay, see, sometimes we start out with, we want to get these people in the church. If that's your end game, you're going to be disappointed. Okay, I'm being real. Okay, many of the people that you reach, you may only be planting a seed. Somebody else may water it. Okay, some of you are in the church not because you heard it the first time. It took years before you got here. Okay. So you have that, as we talked about earlier, the theoretical knowledge is important. The Sabbath school lesson is important. That stuff is, you talk about the crucible. Oh, you go through that, you're thinking about your own stuff. And the last one of the last week, it talked about Jesus in the crucible. You couldn't help but think about yourself and the stuff you've been through. That's knowledge. Because guess what? Everybody you meet is going to wear a crucible too. Just like you thought about the stuff you've been through, there are folks that you will meet that's thinking about the stuff and still dealing with their stuff. So you have that. So you have the word of God. So theoretical knowledge is important. But guess what? The theoretical knowledge, it comes in handy when the Spirit of God brings it forth. Okay, so like the brother I'm talking about, we talked, but it took him weeks because I figured the pandemic was going to last a long time. If the pandemic had ended after 2 weeks, I wouldn't have had a job. My church would have rolled up in here and said, what the, okay, goodbye. But anyway, it just expanded, but just talking with him, just showing interest in him, and then the door opened. You know what? We have services on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. It's online on YouTube. So I give him the flyer, and he still was working. So he comes back the next week and said, oh, Pastor, I was listening to you. He said, but you was here in sweatpants. He said, I didn't know you could deliver the word like that. He said, you seem so down to earth. See, you ain't always have to have a suit on. Through the week, I'm going to church to do some work. I can't show up to church to do some of the stuff I do and nobody knows about it. Can't do it in a suit. I may fall off a ladder with a suit on. Okay, roll like that. So anyway, we talking, and he said, man, I have a son that's going through something. And what you said in your message just resonated. He said he shared it with his son. So now not only was he watching it, his son was watching it. Okay, so the word is important. You got to get the word. You got to know what you're talking about. You can't be making up stuff. Okay? When you start talking about the death of Christ, first of all, you got to know he died for you. Start talking about the Sabbath, you gotta make it practical. Because you're telling people, when you think about that, you're telling people to in some case, give up their job. Are you serious? I remember this one brother came, and he accepted everything, and he got to that Sabbath. He said, Pastor. He said, Pastor. He said, Pastor. He said about 5 times, so I knew, Pastor. Pastor. He said all that. I said, but there's one area I'm just wrestling with. I said, what may that be? He said, the Sabbath. He said, you know that job, you know what I do? I said, no, I really don't. He said, it's how much I make. So I said, well, how much? You know, I want to know. I want to know how you roll. He said, Pastor, I make $150,000, but I got to work on the Sabbath. He said, what do I need to do? What can I do? I mean, he said, but to walk away from 150, I said, man, let me just tell you. I said, you haven't even asked for it off yet. I said, you creating something that may not even be a problem. But Pastor, all I could think about was 150. And not only that, my wife told me, she said, what are we going to do? I said, man, you haven't even tried. You don't even know what God's going to do. She said, what I'm supposed to do? I said, well, I can write you a letter. I can write you a letter about what you believe, what you're embracing, and let's pray over it together and let's see what happens. He said, but before I write it, I have to know I'm just not writing it just to see what happens. Because it's not about me, it's about you. You got to be willing to take it to the next level. Because at the end of the day, I go home and I'm eating my food and what have you, and I got a job, what have you. So I'm not walking in your shoes, but you got to know that this may be your last opportunity. So I write a letter, write a nice little letter. No. He takes it, gives it to his supervisor, and like the sister said, he just discounted it. I said, well, no, nothing about that. So he came back and told me. I said, who's his boss? Who's his boss? I said, we're going to take it to the next. We're going to escalate it just a little bit more. He said, the guy said, well, if we do this for you and this, that, and the other, and da-da-da-da-da. So I said, well, did you ask them about the folks that work on Sunday? That don't work on Sunday because they go to church? He said, well, he go to church on Sunday. Why can't I go to church? Why can't you go to church on Sunday? And he said, he's off on Sunday. So we wrote a letter to the next level. Let me show you how God works. Wrote a letter to the next. He gives him a person that's in the letter to him, elder. Come to find out, his boss was our business. Because he even told the guy, he said, look, you can send it up there, but it ain't mattering. We just don't do this. You just wasting your time, and I really don't appreciate you going over me. You know, that kind of so that's trouble right there. So he letter gets to him, and my number's there. So the super calls me, and we're talking. We just chit-chatting, and I figured if he's a supervisor, he's probably closer to my age. And come to find out, we was in school together. I said, oh man. I wanted to go back. I said, you know what, man? You about to get promoted to the guy that was giving you trouble. We about to get him fired. No, we didn't do that. But anyway, he had to do it. He had to do it. Take it through the chain of whatever, this, that, and the other. Wasn't a problem. Wasn't a problem. See, sometimes people make issues that's not an issue. God already got it. But there are situations you're going to have to, you're going to have to walk away. So I'm just saying, but the word of God is quick. It's important. It's important. It's important. Okay. What is your purpose? You got to understand what's your purpose. Why are you a part of this church? I mean, you got to ask yourself in your quiet time, what is it about this church, the beliefs of this church that resonates with me? And when you're able to grapple with that and why God has called you and chosen you, it's bigger than the small stuff that goes on in church. What's your purpose? Okay. Let me just help you. Let me help you. Let me drop something on you. This is extra. I have something I'm going to give you all. When I first got I like just messing up the church. I like just getting in folks' head. So when I first got to Bethany, the Lord just in the middle of the night, about 3 a.m, I was going to preach about the mustard seed because we're about to take on all this stuff that people say we couldn't do. So the Lord said, preach about the mustard seed, and I said, well, how do I really lock in? So I had this bright idea. I went out and bought some mustard seed, put them in a nice clear, use my own money so I'd have that treasure, and put up a mustard seed in every last one of them, and we passed them out. Okay, so when I'm preaching, they had this. It had it. And then even to this day, after 3 years, if you call any, they got that mustard seed somewhere. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'll give it to you at the end, but I'm gonna give that first elder. This is a mustard seed. Okay. This is I gave the first. I'm gonna give everyone at the end a mustard seed. Well, you sitting up front. You sit up real close. Okay. Now a mustard seed is, if you read about it, it's a small thing. I'm gonna throw one to him. Catch it. Okay. He missed it. He don't know where it is. That's what I'm saying. And all I'm saying, a mustard seed, if you don't keep up with it, you'll lose it. Okay, now follow me. Okay, and if you do the research, a mustard seed is one. I'll give one to everyone at the end, so for time's sake. But again, a mustard seed is one of the smallest seeds. You read about it, you heard about it, and what have you. But the thing is, when you talk about the mustard seed, if you have the faith of, you see, but we read it out of context, and then you got to get this. I should come back and preach that, boy. I'll preach the roof off this place. But anyway, what it's really saying, it takes, it takes this much faith to activate God's power. You ain't got to have a lot. That's all it takes to activate the omnipotent power of God. Okay. Now let me just go a little bit deeper, and I'll give you one at the end. Man, you better be glad that your elder, he just kept chasing me to come here. He would not. He loved you all because it wasn't easy to do that, but he just kept pressing. So you thank him for this. But then also, a mustard seed, get this, has to be placed in the right environment. Wow. The mustard seed that the first elder has, if he doesn't put it in the right environment, you see, they are here, but it's not the right environment. They will stay in this form because it's in the wrong environment. In this environment, it will always stay small. No growth. That's a word. It has to be placed in the right environment. Now check this out. It's going to get deeper. Number 2. Wow. In order for it to grow, it has to give up its what? Its present form of being alone. Wow. The elder has one, but it's by itself. It's alone. Alone is not going to get it anywhere. Not in the right environment, it's not going to grow. Okay, let's go. It has to give up its present form. Yeah, but I like being a mustard seed member. I like just staying to myself, minding my business, just being a good little church member. Don't bother nobody. I come to church, come to Sabbath school sometimes. I come late. At least I got here in service. Just mind my own business. Don't ask me to do nothing extra. There's no growth there. There's no growth there. Okay, there's no growth there. Number 3, in order, it has to be what? Wow. Has to be buried before the work can start. Okay? Which means when you bury it, you can't what? See it. You can't see it. That means the work the Lord wants to do in you, it's not going to be in front of people. It's going to be in your prayer closet. It's going to be on your knees with nobody looking. No one looking. And some of you all sitting here, wow, there's some people in this church, they should be here today. You're thinking about that right now. You're thinking about that right now. Okay, it has to be buried before the work can start. In order for it to start working, it has to be what? Go deeper. You see the tree there, but it's what takes place underground. Wow. What takes place underground? Because it decided to give up its aloneness and placed in the right environment. And then it began to spread out, going deeper. And as you can see, the O there, it goes back to what I shared, prayer sitting at the middle of it. Okay. Let me go. There's just a few things that goes with that situation. We're talking about building a team. Okay, these things are cues. These things are important in the sense that some of them you will do by yourself, some you will do in groups, in prayer partners, those type of things. Prayer, you have fasting, you have meditation, and then when you think about the work of God, you got to brainstorm. You just got to brainstorm about the possibility. Let me give you a good example. In this pandemic, it's been challenging, especially to do evangelism, trying to come up with the creative ways. But now that things are letting up a little bit. The Lord placed an idea, and it's gonna, it's our plan for next year. Placed an idea to, I did it in Columbus, Ohio, where we brought the life-size sanctuary to the church. Okay, it's called Messiah's Mansion. You can go and Google it or what have you. Messiah's Mansion. We brought that to Columbus, Ohio, and placed it in the parking lot. Advertise, what have you, whatever we had to do. And they came. And every day they would give tours. They give tours. Now, folks, I got to be honest. I before they got it up, I'm walking through different areas. But then they have where you go from the holy place to the most holy place. Now, folks, I got to be honest. With all the education and sanctuary knowledge that I have, I'm thinking all this is in my mind. I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about all that I know. I'm thinking about, even in the Bible where the priest went in and they had the rope tied around him, and he had to make sure in his robe he had bells at the bottom, Told them, to keep moving so we know you're alive. And if you went in there with sin, they would do what? Nobody could run up in there. They had to drag you out. They had to drag. See, I don't know. Let me just be real. If they had that today, can I be completely honest? I'm just real. I don't think I could go in. I don't think I would take the chance. I mean, I wouldn't have the elder and maybe with a rope, and I got to keep moving. And then they hear it stop moving, and they got to drag me out. But I'm just being honest. I'm not that holy yet. I'm still trying to be saved. But I don't think I can run up in there because, I just got some stuff. So I wouldn't be able to go in and pray for y'all. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so let me just do that quickly. Prayer and fast and meditation, brainstorming. You got to just brainstorm about evangelism. How you going to do it? How you are going to do it in your uniqueness. So for me, we're looking to bring Messiah's Mansion to Miami. In Columbus, Ohio, we brought it. We had in that week, we had 2,500 people that came through, that we had the name, addresses, telephone numbers, and the email. In the evening, I had a speaker that was, that we did a meeting during that week on the sanctuary. So in the morning, they toured, and in the evening, we invited them to the meeting, for that. So we had that. Then you got to look at, in building a team, you got the stockholders. Okay, you look around your church, everybody's a part of this. Okay, you look to see what everybody can do. The children can do something, everybody can do something. Okay, and you only ask them to do what you know they can do. Don't ask them to do anything that let me get back with you. Okay, so for example, my sensational seniors, they're not able to get out. So what I would do is, I said, we really need you to be a part of this team. I need you to pray every day at the beginning of the meeting. And I asked them, can you do that? They said, Pastor, I can do that. So I'm not asking them to do something they can't do. So guess what? And I look at them, I said, you know what? I'm depending on you. I said, your prayers are going to make the difference. Can I depend on you? Yes, you can. Guess what? Every day of the meeting, guess what? I knew they were what? I felt it. Okay. The children, okay, what can they do? Number one, they can invite their friends. But then what I did was at the very end, usually the ushers have to pick up all the paper that the members leave. Okay, I employed the children. At the end, every day I had a little team leader. I said, whoever picks up the most will get a prize. I never told them what the prize was. They was climbing over the seats and going under the seats, and that, guess what? At the end, all the paper was picked up. And I would say, okay, put your trash here so I can count your pieces of trash. Count them. Okay. She has 20 pieces. Okay. You have 18. Well, Pastor, let me go find 2 more pieces. Let me break mine in half. I said, come on. So what you do is you give all of them something. Because kids don't understand. You give one and the rest, I ain't doing this no more. So you give it all of them. All of them get a good prize. And then the next night, they do it again. They tell them, Mom, I got to get there. And then I tell them, if you bring a friend, we'll give you 2 prizes. So guess what? The next day, instead of having just the members from the church, guess what you got now? You got their friends who live next door. Their parents want a break anyhow, and they start coming to church. So you got to be creative, think on your own way. We need to take a break. How long is the break? 5 minutes. I don't know if I want to let y'all go. I don't need a break. I'm good, man. I had a year to today, I had my right knee replaced. No, I don't need a break. I feel nothing. So I am blessed and highly. If I never told you, you wouldn't have known. No, so I mean, it is working good. I'm bionic. I'm bionic, y'all. I'm bionic. I can jump higher, fly faster. No, I'm good. I'm good. I want to go through and finish it. But this whole point is part of team building. Some of it you do on your own. You see, then you form prayer teams. Okay, prayer teams. Okay, prayer teams. You're getting ready for a meeting. Concentration is prayer. Okay, before the meeting. Okay, don't wait the week of. No, before the meeting, before Dr. Bird got there, I got there in March, and in May, the prayer teams launched. The prayer teams launched. Okay, I called on my sensational seniors. I said, this church exists because of you. Without the seniors, you wouldn't have a church. They don't want to pay all the bills. Amen. So you empower them every week. I said, I'm depending on my sensational seniors. I said, I need to know you're praying. And they would give a report. And they would just say, oh, Pastor, we've been praying at such and such a time. And then we started a prayer on the prayer line. So every Monday at noon, they're retired, so they're home. So they would get on at 12 noon every Monday, and they would pray. This is before the meeting. The meeting hadn't even started. So you are undergirding the meeting before with prayer. And then, of course, you do some stuff with the church. Then, of course, fasting. Usually, leading up to the meeting, we had every month we would have a prayer and fasting for the whole church. And I'll share with you in the next presentation how that's done. Then you meditate. Everyone to meditate. I gave them this book. Every time I give this book out, it is life changing. It's called Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. It is powerful. By Sarah Young. By Sarah Young. I even have it on my phone. Let me see if I can pull it up. But and they have it's like a devotional. It's like a devotional. I'll be played at the end. But I gave them that book and ordered it for them, and what have you, and they start giving it out. But it's life changing. I have it on my phone also. And then you look around the church. You find out those that are going to lead out. Okay, there's certain folks that just come forward and you invested. Then you network, connect everybody, this, that, and the other, how the children is going to work with the children and hospitality and blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Okay, let me move quickly. I don't need a break. No, I'm good. You have to be buried. Okay, going back to the mustard seed. You have to be buried and broken before God can use you. That mustard seed that the elder has will stay in that form unless he does what? Bury it. Has to bury it. He has to bury it. And in order for God to use you, you go through prayer and fasting and meditation. That's part of putting it in the right environment. In the right environment. You have to be buried and broken before God can use you. Then also, now check this out. If you're planning to run a meeting, learn as much as you can about the assignment. Wow. Okay, if I'm gonna do the ushering, I'm gonna try and enlist all of the ushers. Everybody may not be available, so which means I may have to adopt some other ushers. I mean, not to lower, but how deep is it to usher? You just got to be nice. Okay, got to be nice. Okay, you got to be nice, because those are the first people that they're gonna see is you. Now you can't sit there. That's my seat. What? Who you? When did God die and leave you in charge? You got to be nice. Got to be nice. I remember in Toledo when I was pastoring, this guy, young adult got baptized. And all he had was, he didn't have no suit. He had no slacks. That first Sabbath that he got baptized, I think that meeting, we baptized 150 people. And he came to church and he had this suit on, but it was short. It was shorts. It wasn't a suit, but it was like a sports. Right. It was just matching. And one of my ushers, she said, told him he couldn't come in the church looking like that. He's talking about you know better than coming to church with shorts on. That's what she said to him. So because I had built a rapport with him, he knew where the pastor study was. So, you know, my blood started boiling, Elder. My blood was boiling. And the devil made sure it was boiling too. So I go out and I said, Sister so-and-so, somebody said that he said that you told him that he knows better about coming in the church like this. And I said, see, sometimes you have to protect new people. And when you protect new people, you don't need to be nice because they should know better. You don't be nice. I said, he just came to the Lord. I said, well, first of all, before I go there, see, there's another side of me. There's a nice humorous side, then there's that other side that go right at you. I said, well, how many people did you invite? And that smile left. She knew I was serious. How many people did you invite? How many people did you bring to this meeting? She was silent. I said, if you remember the meeting we had with the church and explained to the church how they should interact with new people? She said, yeah, I heard you. I said, one of the things that I said is if you didn't bring them and you're not nice, don't interact with them. Bring your own people that know you mean and hateful. Girlfriend looked at me. She was fried. I fried her. Elder, this is what she said to me. She said, something just rose up in her. She said, you know what? The church elected me. I said, oh, they did. They elected, so let me be clear. They elected you to do what? She said, to be the usher, to be the head usher. And that usually takes place on what day? She said, Sabbath. I said, okay. This meeting is 5 days a week. So if you can't follow the rules, you can ush on Sabbath. And then I backed up and said, oh yeah, by the way, because we are in evangelism, which makes it a part of the Sabbath, you have to pick up being the usher when the meeting is over. If you can't, I said, well, we can fix this right now. You just need to apologize to him. Well, I ain't gonna apologize. I said, oh. I said, okay. I said, you're not going to apologize. I said, now, why wouldn't you, as a child of God that Jesus died for, that you wouldn't apologize to a newborn believer? I said, if it was your son or your grandson, what would you do? Well, I would have bought him some clothes. I said, you don't say. I said, you don't say. Now let's fast forward what we should be doing. Since you would do that for your grandson or your son or whatever, would you be willing to volunteer to buy some appropriate clothes? Since it bothers you so much? She said, Pastor, why are we having this conversation? She said, I am already convicted. I'm just trying to defend myself. That's what she said. She said, I know I'm wrong. And she went and she embraced the brother and said, I am so sorry. And she said, this is what came out of her mouth that tripped me out. She said, God ain't tripping over what you look like when you come in. He said, God sees it came out of her mouth. She said, I don't know if you would be open after I was mean to you, but I would be willing to take you to Macy's. I said, well, I'm the pastor. I'll go with you too. I need some shoes since we rolling like that. But then let me just tie it up. The thing is, check it out. This brother, she took him to Macy's and got him some nice clothes. And because of her niceness, guess what? He wanted to be an usher. So 2 Sabbaths later, I walk in and he at the door. And she had, taken him through the training through the week. They had met at the church and they had done the training. I said, girlfriend, that's a Bible worker right there. Took him under her wings, and to this day, guess what? He the head usher now. Okay? Again, as I said, there's some things, some of us got some rough edges. Because remember, you take yourself with you. And all of us got crazy. All of us. You show up on the wrong day, we all got it. No, I'm just, we all got it. I'm telling you. Y'all know it. That's why y'all laughing. We all got crazy up in us on the wrong day. Even as a pastor, you show up on me on the wrong day, I carry an Adventist plastic knife in my sock and I will cut somebody. We all got it. And sometimes one of the other members that know you have to help you with those rough edges. Someone that cares about you and that wants the best for you. So couldn't you have done that a little bit different? Think about it. But you can't allow that stuff. Imagine if I said, well, I ain't, she been, she a charter member, just let her be. Guess what? She's going to do that every night to somebody. Okay? But I did it in love, and I had to stay firm. It's either going to be done this way, or it's not going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Not on my watch. You may have to wait till the next pastor come and start that stuff up, but I'm here. I'm going to shut you down. I'll cut you with my Adventist knife, okay? Okay, learn as much. If you're doing a meeting, learn as much about what you're doing, how to do it better, how to commit yourself, whatever it is, okay? Somebody else may do it better than you. Ask them, and just adopt it. Team building. You got to do team building. If you run a meeting, it takes the whole church, folks. Don't leave the pastor out there by himself. Okay? And then there are certain people, because of their position, they may be tired, but the first elder got to be there whether you like it or not. Okay? There's the head deacon who opens up. They got the tech people got to be. So you got to build team. You got to build a team. The first elder can't do it all. He needs to do some delegation. Don't allow the pastor to be the one or the first elder. They got to unlock the church. They got to lock it at the end. They got to turn off the lights. They got to pick up the paper. I mean, come on, folks. Don't let it roll like that. The more people that pitch in, the more team building. Okay. Let me go quickly. Know your context that you operate in. What am I saying? Okay, I go out to San Diego on Wednesday. The context out in San Diego is completely different than this neighborhood. completely different. And you got to know that. Know your demographics. I mentioned to the pastor that know your demographics. Know what's around you. Okay, in Miami, before I even got there, the conference assigned me, and then I had like 6 weeks before I got assigned. I'll be ready to go to work as soon as they move me. I'm ready to get in there and punch and just get started. So I'm just go visit a couple of churches, and I got bored. So I started doing intel around Miami Bethany. So I drove there like before church started. I wanted to see who got there first. Didn't know who they were. Just wanted to see how many people came. Then when service ended, to see how many people hung around, drove around the neighborhood. That's intel. That's intel. That's intel. And I would do that for about 3 Sabbaths before they even installed me. Until one time, the gentleman, the Sabbath school superintendent I went to school with, and he noticed me. I was busted. I said, man, I was just driving by, just seeing what the church looked like. Now I was gathering intel. So you got to know as much as you can about the context. Many of you have been around the church for a long time. Okay, so you know what's here, and that will help you in your work. Okay, like in Miami, the whole demographics is changing to Hispanic. You got to know that. You got to know that. You got to know who you're trying to reach, adjust, and all of those things are important. Not you throwing your seed on fallow ground. Okay, you got to know your social media platform. I mean, your audience. Who you talking to? Okay, when we did ours, I had folks from Detroit, folks from Louisiana, folks from Atlanta, folks from the Bahamas, Jamaica. So okay, this is the context. So how do I lead them? Okay, they're on every night. Okay, I can't do it from where I am. So I get the information and I pass it on. Okay, there's someone in the Bahamas. There are churches in Bahamas. Some of my members are from Bahamas, so they are connected. I said, this is the address. Is their church? I don't know. I mean, I go there on a cruise, but I don't get off the ship and, go buy some trinkets and get back on this. So I don't really know. So I'll ask one of my members, one of my elders from there, and, oh yeah, this is so-and-so, and they're so-and-so church, and the pastor. I said, give me his number. So I called him. I said, well, this individual has been on several times, and these are the messages that he's heard. That's important to know. He's heard the state of the dead, the second coming, the Sabbath, this, that, and the other. We've sent them lessons, and we want to hand them all. And I said, can you handle it? You're not going fit into getting ready to reach them, and you don't reach them. I said, I don't want to give you a name, and you're not going to follow up. Okay, I don't. This is kingdom business. This may be their last opportunity. So, Pastor, I said, on top of that, I'm gonna give you the information. When can you send somebody by whatever? I can get it done within 2 weeks. I'll say, okay, I'll be calling you back to check on it. 2 weeks go by. Guess what? You got a report. Oh, Pastor, we sent somebody the very next week, and they were at church. Matter of fact, they raised their hand to join the church. Okay, we don't get the number, but they get it. It's the same kingdom. It's the same heaven. Okay, so you got to know that kind of stuff. It's not always about what happens here. Sometimes it happens somewhere else. Okay, so know the context that you operate in. Also, choose your team prayerfully. Choose the team prayerfully. Let me just say one little thing about that. Having a wrong team member can sabotage. All of it's about chemistry. Now, I got to be honest, I don't know you all, but I pastored 30-something years, and all the churches are the same. There are certain people you got to keep apart. They just don't gel. It's not that it's just that their personalities. Well, Pastor, aren't everybody Christian? Yeah. But there's certain people you already know you need to keep them working in different areas for the success of what you're doing. Okay? You just have to do that. Even Jesus had to deal with that. Even the apostles, as they went about, they had to separate because it just wasn't working. It's there in the Bible. You can be more effective separately. And if you know that ahead of time, why set somebody up like that? Okay. Well, this person has been the children's leader for 45 years. I said, that's fine for church. That's what y'all want to roll. 45 more years with that. That's cool with you. I said, but during the revival, we're not rolling like that. Just because you hold a position in church does not mean you hold it during the meeting. It's a different ball game. It's a different context. Because you're bringing in kids that have never been in church. Let me help you, y'all. We baptized all these people in Miami, and these kids, some of them had never been in church. No, you ain't even getting me. They don't know what it is to sit down. They just move, and their moms, single moms, and for them it's a break. And I got close to them. I mean, I was like a movie star. I would go and they were just like, it's the pastor, they just love me. But you put them in a church setting, 11 o'clock hour, and they bouncing around, and you know how we can be. We trying to concentrate, and they climbing over the pew and under the pew, and we've been in church all our lives, and it's just killing us. We can't even pay attention. It's killing us. We can't even we done lost our blessing, and we thinking about, and we just, we want to grab them. You know what I'm talking about? And then you always have the members that can help you through that situation. And them kids, you hand them a device. You know what they had the device, and one of them, his brother, he wanted to play, and they supposed to take turns, and a full-fledged fight breaks out between the siblings over. So they bring them to me up front. So they bring them. So I hear all this commotion. I say, okay, I know who it was. I knew it was my little kids, and I go and get the one that was the ringleader. I say, okay, you're gonna be sitting with me. You're gonna be my assistant. The assistant? Yeah, you're the pastor's assistant. He said, well, what you want me to do? I said, well, I just want you to sit with me. You mean up front? I said, yeah. I said, but I need you to do that every week because, I need an assistant. I said, I'm going to be up here and I'll be, doing what I need over there. And if I need anything, I'll point to you. So I would intentionally leave my Bible there on purpose when I would get up to preach. And he would get it, come running. I need my iPad. The whole church is looking at this. What in the world is going on? See, but he's not there. He's not back there disturbing no one. Okay, now he's a pastor's assistant. So now he got to pay attention. So, and then I had so he, I leave him my phone. He ain't having because he knew what I gave him my code. I said, don't go to my Cash App now. Don't go to my Cash App. Don't go to my Cash App because I don't have no code there. You do. I had to put a code on there because I didn't know he been and bought something off Amazon and all this. And ordered him an Uber to come pick him up. And so he had my phone, and he was just right there, content. Guess what? All of a sudden, everything in the back settled down. So then as time went on, I had to, nudge him a little bit more about certain things. But in his mind, he would go back, I'm the pastor's assistant. only I get to sit with him. Now you're talking about someone that had never been to church. See, but you gotta lock in, and people staring, not want, but he was cool then. So even with people, you have to be careful who you put together. And you already know. I won't stay there too long because you're already thinking about who I'm talking about. It might be you. Okay, then you got to measure your level of commitment. Okay, when you put together your team, you got to already know how committed they are. Okay, for example, if I ask my sensational seniors, I need them to pray at the meeting starts at 7. I tell my sensational seniors I need those that are present to gather and pray at 6:50 every night. Okay, I don't have time to look for you. This is your station. This is where you're going to be. At 6:50 you got to be there. Okay, and of course they can't be there every night, but then I have those that are not able to come at 6:50. Guess what they're doing? Okay, so you're not making anyone look bad. So those that are there, the pastor's dependent on us. Because if we don't pray, he's not going to be able to do whatever. So they take it seriously. So you got to measure the level of commitment. Okay, the first elder makes some assignments and they don't show up. Guess who got to do what he assigned them to do? Now, of course, emergencies come up, but you do what? You communicate. Okay, so measure, and you got to ask folks point blank, can I depend on you? Well, Pastor, I work on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay, I received that. So these other days, I got you. Okay, so I know on those 2 days, I what? Don't look for them. But them other days, I depend on them. And I said, if you can't do it, you need to text the leader to let them know that you can't make it. That's important. So measure the level of commitment of those that are doing the work, because it is important in running the church. For example, running a meeting, there's things that are delegated to the pastor, to the elders, to the deacons, the ushers. Everybody has to handle their area. Well, they can't be running to the elders. Well, so-and-so, he got some other responsibilities. Your assignment is already there. Then you got to building the team. All must have influence and a particular skill set. There are some people in this church that can get people to do stuff. They call you and they won't take. They can call you. You just won't tell them no. Like I had this member. Every time I called, she would tell me no. But then I noticed my prayer leader. Every time she would call her, she would always be there. I said, man, maybe I did something. I'm scratching my head, and then it dawned on me. I said, wow. I said, I need to go through the prayer leader. I said, prayer leader, I need so and so to do something. Can you handle it for me? Gotcha, Pastor. She would make the call. The same thing I would have asked. She'd tell me no. Prayer leader, she's right there. I haven't looked into what the reason was, but I ain't got time. I just go to my prayer leaders. I need so-and-so. And she, girl, is talented. So, building team all must have influence and a particular skill set. For example, if I have the young adults, there's always a young adult that got influence with the other young adults. And they're going to follow. Same thing with members. That's important. It's important. We have movers and shakers in the church. Okay, manager, assistant manager, captain, team players, blah, 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 blah. That's just an example. But then this is the key. You want the entire team on the bus. But guess what? They got to be where? Wow. Everybody on the bus, but they got to be sitting in the right seat. Okay, they can't sit in the pastor seat. They can't sit in the musician seat. They can't sit with the first elder, what he got to do. So everybody is important. Everybody is on the bus, but everybody got to sit in the right seat. It's like 2 weeks ago, I went to San Diego to do some training, and it was a straight flight. So I bought my ticket to be up against the window because I need, that 6-hour flight, whatever. So I roll up on the plane, and sister girl sitting in my seat. Okay, she's sitting there. So I get her attention. She's in my seat on the window. And they already said it was going to be a full flight. So she just tried to ignore me. She started looking away. I said, put my stuff up top. I said, that's my, and she tried to act like she didn't speak English. So I said, no hablo español. Because my wife is Dominican. It was like me back before. So she said that she thought she pushed the button to get this seat. So some people you just can't read. You pull out the ticket and showed her the seat and then pointed up there. But what she was trying to do, she was trying to sit in the wrong seat. And she thought I was going to be nice. You talking about a 6.5-hour flight, nonstop? I'm going to sit on your lap if you don't get up. You're going to get up from this seat. So the flight attendant, I noticed she was right over there, and she just kind of sits, she could tell that I wasn't going back. I wasn't going to be nice and just sit on the end or in the middle. So she finally moved. But what I'm saying is, it's the same way in the church. Everybody got to be in the right seat. Because if somebody is sitting in the wrong seat, imagine someone is in the wrong seat telling you what to do. That ain't gonna come across very good. They on the bus, but they in the wrong seat. The elder is sitting in the right seat, but somebody want to sit in his seat and tell him what to do and how to do it. It's friction. So the point of it is, you want everybody on the bus, but everybody got to sit in the right seat. What does that mean? Okay, if I'm working with the prayer team and I'm praying, my job is to sit on a prayer seat and pray. Okay, my sensational seniors, if they're supposed to meet at 6:50, that's the seat they got. If I'm an usher, I need to be at my post and handle that and work with those folks. If I'm hospitality, I need to handle my seat and just keep it moving. But I can't sit in the elder seat. I can't sit in the deacon seat. I can't go up there and tell the tech people, you know what, you need to just turn this up, turn this down. No, you need to sit in your seat. Sit in your seat. So that's critical. That is critical. Then let me go quickly. Understand the law of deposit and withdrawal. You get what you put in. Okay? You cannot go to Wells Fargo and make a withdrawal. Go there on Monday and say, the pastor sent me and I'm going to withdraw some money that I didn't put in. See what happens to you. Okay? So even in the church, you get what you put in. Okay? You get what you put in. Okay, so if I'm a sensational senior and the pastor's asked, along with the prayer team, to handle that aspect, they could use their creativity, what they're gonna do, when they're gonna meet on the prayer line, how they're gonna meet, where they're gonna meet, what have you, and they don't do it. That means they're not making deposits. Okay, and then the meeting is over and it's, well, nothing happened. Well, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Okay? So if you put in what you're supposed to put in, you'll be able to get those withdrawals. Those withdrawals are important. And in life, it's the same way. If you don't put in the time, you're not going to get those withdrawals. Those that have gone, aspired education, what have you, this, that, and the other. So you have to pay the price. Somebody said, well, Pastor, you got a doctorate degree. Why other pastors? I said, I don't know why. They didn't give it to me. They didn't hand it to me. I had to put in some time. So you have understand the laws of deposits and withdrawals, and that's in a meeting. And if the church, hear me, if the church does not make the deposits, well, that's their meeting. That's the pastor's meeting. Or the elder wanted to do that. It will impact the withdrawals. Okay, so again, whatever you commit to, you have to be committed to sit in that seat and just know that you have to do what you say you can do, whatever it is. Okay, can we quickly. It's like a rubber band. Okay, we already did this. I'm gonna give you all one of these, but you understand, if it's not in the right place, it's not gonna grow. A mustard seed. I'll get that. Then the other thing I have here is I have a rubber band. A rubber band is for what? Stretching. That's its purpose. It stretches. It holds things and what have you. If this doesn't stretch, there's no purpose for it. So a rubber band, its purpose is to stretch. It's to stretch. And you and I, and it comes to the work of God, because God has saved us, we're supposed to stretch. Okay, which means we're going to have to stretch a little bit further than we're used to. It means you're not going to be as comfortable. Okay, when I come to church on Sabbath, I don't have to stretch. It's just everything is worked out, this, that, and the other. But when you run a meeting, it calls for everybody to stretch. And when we don't stretch together, and it's just one or two people, they stretch so far, and then what happens? You let one or two people do all the stretching, it only has so much elasticity. Let them keep stretching. And eventually, okay, you get the picture? But if everybody is stretching, everybody's carrying their load, it makes it easier. Okay, let me just go. Its sole purpose is to stretch. Leaders that build successful teams must stretch constantly. Your elder said, well, Pastor, how you been able to pastor that? Guess what I've been doing for 30-something years? Stretching. When I was in Ohio, decided to go get my doctorate degree. So, Pastor, why you gonna do that? You ain't get no more money. It's not for you. It's for me. If something happened, I got options. I can go teach. I can teach remotely. I got options. It's for self-growth. Well, you just got it because you want folks to call you a doctor. Are you serious? No, it's just deeper than that. It's self-motivation. Okay? All right. Networking. Okay. I remember this was when I first started ministry. I ran my first meeting in Canton, Ohio, and made friends with the Baptist pastor. We became good friends, and we decided to run the meeting right across from his church. Okay, he ran the church. So we were friends. Friends. And anyway, he saw the tent going up, and he saw me there working, putting it up. He said, what's going on? I said, man, we're going to be running a meeting. He said, you trying to steal my sheep? I said, no, I don't steal sheep unless they free or loose. If you're not shearing them right, they might, anyway, we playing, what have you. He said, no big deal. And then he said, he let us use his van to pick up people. He said, just don't pick up any of my members. That's what he told me. I said, well, I said, first of all, I'm not going to know who your members are. So, I won't even be driving the book. I won't be driving it. So anyway, meeting went on, and every occasionally he would park and just, so so next day we met. I was over there working. He said, Pastor, I noticed some of my members were in your tent. And he said, I said, yeah. I said, it's open. It's open to everybody. I said, you can come if you want. He said, man, I was seeing which members it was because those don't give to my anniversary, so I don't care. That's what he told me. That's what he told me. He said, well, they don't give for my anniversary, so those are I'm not really concerned about those. And sure enough, about 4 or 5 of his members got baptized. Got baptized. But the point of it is you got to network with whoever you can get some help from. Then I remember trying to put up the tent. The fire department was giving me a hard time. They was giving me a hard time and putting all these rules. But I had met the mayor months before at some meeting, and he gave me a number. He said, if you ever need anything, call this number. Talking about networking. And they was giving me a hard time. They wanted to see the make sure the tent was fireproof, and they wanted me to get the certificate. And the tents have been in the conference office for 35 years. They ain't got no certificate, and this, that, and the other. And they knew I didn't have one, and I'm stressing out. And then it dawned on me. Let me call the mayor. The number he gave me, and I called him and explained the situation. And the next day, got the permit. And then we didn't have any electricity, so we was going to use a generator. And, whenever you're in a neighborhood, you get to know everybody in the vicinity. In the vicinity. So I'm the new pastor in town, this, that, and the other. But we didn't have no electricity, so I went and talked to this elderly lady that lived right next to the field. And I said, we trying to do this meeting, but we don't have no electricity. I was wondering if you would allow us to run an extension cord. And we would pay your electric bill for the whole month. She said, for the whole month? You mean I can run my air conditioning a little bit longer than I'm... I said, yeah, girlfriend. I said, you can run it all day, however you want. So, she let us run the extension cord, and we was able to run the meeting. And then, at the end, we took care of the bill and then just gave her something extra for this hooking us up. Networking. Then those that are in graphic design, we needed flyers, and I knew some people and connected with them. They did the flyers, a lot of stuff, because you all know people that can do things for the church, or you may know that you just can work. Our young people can do things that you can't do. They can handle it, so you got to network and figure it out. Okay. Then you got to delegate. You got to delegate. Don't try to do it yourself. This is huge. Delegate. What I do, I may be able to do it. And it's not a problem, but I'll delegate just to get somebody else involved. It's no big deal, but if I can get someone else to do it, I delegate. I will delegate everything I can think of if I can find somebody. That's one less thing I have to think about. And I'll ask them, I said, can I depend on you? I said, I don't want to get here and I got to figure out that you're not coming, Pastor, I got you. I said, and if ever you can't make it, you got my number. Send me a text, send me a call, and don't send it to me 1 minute before you're supposed to show up. You already know you wasn't going to make it, so hit me up early to Pastor, something came up, and it may and it will, so do that and we'll figure it out. Delegate whatever you can delegate, Okay, that's critical. That is critical. Then what to do about naysayers and haters? They are in every church. Why we shouldn't be doing it? Where are the people we baptized in that other meeting? I mean, the list goes on. We can do so much more with this money. We should do it this way. Da 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 da. The list goes. Let me tell you how to handle. And they're there. They're there. They do it. Some of them are sophisticated. Sophisticated. They'll ask, what they'll start out. What do you think about this? This is a loaded question already. They know where. What do you think about this? And you answer the best you can, but this is what I do. This is for me. I don't know if you all can do this and avoid this. This is what I do about naysayers and haters. That's what I do. I spend as little time as possible listening. Because by listening, it keeps you from doing something else that's even more productive. A good example, I was in San Diego, again, congregation I didn't know, was meeting with the entire church, going through a presentation, and this lady, the pastor never told me that this is the person that's going to sidetrack you. He didn't give me a heads up. So she started asking questions. And me not knowing, I'm trying to answer the question, but then because I've been around long enough, I'm like, And the question she asked, he had asked the members to turn in 3 names of people that they wanted to see in the kingdom. So she asked, well, which is a good question. What are you all going to do with those names? Okay, I knew it was a loaded question, so I answered. I said, "Well, it said this is the process. You are giving us 3 names. When before the meeting, there will be flyers. These are your 3 names. Your responsibilities." I'm already deflecting it back on her. I said, "Those 3 names, when the flyers are available, it is your responsibility to give them and invite them to the meeting." Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, once you give them the flyer, it is your responsibility to give them the information to be virtually or in person. See where I'm deflecting it to? Not what we gonna do. The real question is not what I'm gonna do, what you gonna do. See, and the thing is about the people that they already know that you're Adventist. That's a plus. Okay, they already know that you're Adventist, so that's one hurdle that you already over. So at the same time, we have them because as we get closer to the meeting, we will have the Bible workers to make a contact to invite them also. So number 1, they get an invitation from you. Now they're getting an invitation from the Bible worker that the pastor is inviting them as his personal guest to come to the meeting. Oh, okay. Well, are they going to go by? Okay. The other side of me almost popped up. I wanted to say, have you gone by? If I didn't, I stayed right there. I said, the Bible worker's going to be busy. They will probably either call or, call just to chat. They'll be too busy. But if you feel they need a visit, you let us know, and then they will go. You deflect it again. If you know the name that you gave us, you know whether they need a visit by the Bible worker. You tell us if they need one. That was the end of it. That was it. So again, you will have that. Spend as much little time as possible. And then you got to improve whatever you got, tighten it up. As you get closer, check and verify that everything is a go. The ushers are ready. Sensational seniors, anything that you need. Technology, is there any equipment that you need? Deacons, is there anything that you need? Elders, is there anything that you need? Bible workers, check and verify. Is there anything that you need before we get into the meeting? Because if you let me know before the meeting, most likely we can do something about it. But once you get in the meeting, it's hard to recalibrate and try to take care of some things that we could have taken care of before. So you got to improve, and then invest in yourself and your team. Invest in yourself and in your team. What I told my sensational senior, I said, at the end of the meeting, we are going to have a dinner, just me and the sensational senior. I said, we're going to be. I said, what you? I said, yeah. I said, what are we going to have? Well, you gonna cook? I'm just gonna show up. I said, if you say you want me to cook, we're gonna have microwave dinners if I cook. Oh no, Pastor, we can't do that. And after the meeting, we set a date through the week, because of course they're available during the day. We sat and we talked and laughed and talked about the meeting and this, that, and the other. You got to invest in your people. I got the elders, we got together, had a dinner, talked, what have you. The IT people, I said, well, give me some equipment that you need. You tell an IT person, get some equipment. They give you a long list. I told my IT people at Bethany, I said, is there anything that you want? Anything that you need to make us go to that level? They gave me this list, and, and I just, and we got it all. They needed new iPads, they needed updated computers, this, that, and the other. And guess what? They're there every week. Okay, so you have to invest in your folks. And then you talk hospitality, if there's food involved, they back there struggling, what can we do to make it easier? This, that, and the other. So whatever you got to do, make that happen. And then got to go deeper, and everything starts with your mind. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write down all the teams. When you meet with the teams, you have your elders that are assigned to each team. Not the first elder. The first elder delegates to the elders. Okay, every elder is over a particular team to check and verify that they have what they need. Okay, so it's not the pastors, not the elders. They may bring a report that so-and-so needs this, that, and the other. Write it down. Do something every day. If you plan on a meeting, every day do something to plan for it. Just keep it alive. Check and verify that you're getting it done, your personnel, this, that, and the other. One time in one of my meetings, one of my ushers said that she had a friend that was an usher of a Baptist church, and she wanted to be an usher in our meeting. And first my member said, no, we can't have that. I said, why? What's why? What's she gonna do? What can she do? She probably can ush better than all of our ushers. I said, I said, but they don't believe. I said, she's not gonna be teaching. She's not gonna be doing no preaching. She's just gonna be ushing. She's gonna, taking people to a seat smiling. I said, this is a revival. This is not Sabbath service. This is not. This is Sunday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday night. What's the big deal? Well, Pastor, we never did it this way. I said, just trust me. I promise you, when the meeting is over, you will still be Adventists. I promise you, when the meeting is over, you're going to still be Adventist. I promise you. I promise you, you're not going to be Baptist. I promise you. I promise you're not going to leave the church. I promise you. Is that what you're worried about? Oh, Pastor, this is just different. I said, go with me. Trust me. Trust me. Believe me. Trust me. And this sister, she was ready. And then, of course, well, Pastor, she's going to be wearing jewelry. I said, no, I'll handle that. Because since it bothers you, it don't bother me. That's her tradition. She's not Adventist. Yeah, but she's representing us. I said, I'll handle that. How you gonna do that? I said, didn't I just tell you I was going to handle it? Didn't I just tell you what you want me to do? You want to handle it? No, you said you're gonna handle it. I just don't know how you gonna tell her. I said, you creating all of this friction. It's not that deep. This girl wants to serve. Now, as the pastor approached her, this is what I did. She said, well, how you gonna do it? I said, I can't tell you all my secrets. So I call her, I go by her house. I said, yeah, so-and-so said you want to work in the meeting. I am so happy. And how many days can you commit? She said, Pastor, I can be there every night. Okay, but still I got to deal with that one issue because I know it's going to bother my members. You know, because some of us, we like Pharisees. We just, so, you know, as a pastor, I have to respect. I have respect people. I respect people's beliefs. So even though I'm not tripping and don't bother me, so I go to him, I said, you know what? I said, I'm so glad, but let me just share something as far as serving. And all of our ushers have to follow this dress code. See how I flip that in? I said, I'm sure where you are, there's a dress code. Oh yeah, Pastor, there is a dress code because if you show up out of dress code, you can't serve. So she walked right in. I said, you know, the dress code in our church is maybe a little bit different than your church. And one of the things, and I noticed you have those beautiful earrings. They just slamming, girl. They just make you look like $1 million. Oh, she blushed and what have you. I said, but in our dress code, we want to remain as simple as possible. So during the meeting, to keep from any distractions, it's just like I noticed them awesome earring. You're going to have all kind of brothers rolling up on you, looking at you and what have you, and they're not going to be able to hear the word of she laughing. I said, but the dress code is, you know, we just, you know, have to take off, you know, the jewelry and what have you, just to be as simple, because that's the dress code, to have the black and white blouse and just neat and simple, no distraction. Oh, that's no problem, Pastor. No problem. So the first night she showed up, the lady looked at me and said, Pastor, how did you do that? I said, it's called love. It's called love. That's what it's called. Every night. I mean, she thought it was, she just knew I was going to be wrong. She was waiting. But she don't know I am connected. I'm connected to the man. Anyway, girlfriend didn't have her jewelry on. And of course I wasn't tripping because I knew in my mind, she going to be ushering and hearing the message every night. Every night, gonna be there before anybody else get there, to be on the workers meeting with the evangelist, the pastor. So it means I'm rubbing shoulder with her every day. You know what I'm thinking? Splash. And girlfriend thinking about, come on, God ain't tripping. Let people be people. So anyway, she was coming every night, Elder. And she didn't have no jewelry on. The lady would look at her every time. What you looking for? She looked better than you dressed in her uniform. Leave her alone. And guess what? At the end of the service, guess what? We let stuff that, come on, it's not that deep. Okay, then there's another layer. So after she got baptized, she showed up to church and she had her bling bling on. Well, Pastor, what are you gonna do about that? I said, what am I gonna do about it? I said, you got members in the church. The members got it on. Why are you tripping? You ain't say nothing to them. She just been in the church 2 days. What you thinking about? I said, look. I said, she's still learning. She's still learning. And but then a couple of weeks later, Elder, she came to me. She said, Pastor, your members are bothering me. I said, what you mean they bothering you? She said, I'm at church and they asked me about my jewelry and that I'm an Adventist and I'm still, and then I said, you just got to focus on Jesus. But this is what she told me. This is what people don't understand. It's the backstory. Her husband had already passed, and her husband had given her this jewelry. And she said, Pastor, this jewelry is expensive and it's special because my husband gave it to me and he's no longer here. And it makes me feel close to him. I said, wow. I said, what you need to do is just focus in on Jesus. And if they get too much on your nerves, you call me and you tell me who they are. You tell me who they are and I will check them if it gets to be too much. Because some of us, we roll up on people. we roll up on them, and we roll up on them because, we ain't never sinned and we ain't never done nothing wrong, and everybody that come across this way got to come by me. God left me in charge. I'm the dress inspector. Yeah, that's me. I'm looking. But anyway, this person was coming wearing a jewelry, and she passed the day. I said, just keep looking at you. She kept learning. Months went by. They're wearing the jewelry, and then one Sabbath she didn't have it on. It was like, so she came out, and I said, after everybody, I said, sister, I'd like to speak to you. I said, I noticed that you don't have your expensive jewelry that you said meant so much to me, that meant so much to you. She said, Pastor, when you was talking about the second coming, and you said that we will see our loved ones again, it gave me what I needed to know to go this extra step with the Lord. Okay. See, but if I allow someone to kill them before, see, we trip over stuff that it bothers us. It don't bother the Lord. Or that's why I tell folks don't mess with the young people. If they come to church, amen. 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 At least stay in the building. But okay, anyway. I know something I don't quite like that, but it's the truth. Okay. A cologne, okay. I have one of my favorite colognes, Calvin Klein, Ebry. It's yeah, if you're gonna wear it. Sometimes when you shake hands, especially new members, you shake their hand, they go home. Oh, that's the pastor that shook my hand. Oh, Jesus. No, y'all. Brothers, you won't understand. That's for the sisters. Okay. And you wonder, all of a sudden, your husband end up with the same cologne. I'm about to have my heart hurt right now. I remember my wife. My wife is a flight attendant, so she's been a flight attendant for like 25 years. She fly everywhere, and I remember she came home. She said, "Man, this brother in first class had this cologne on, and it was just nice." I asked him what it was, so I took a picture of it, and I want to get that. I said, "Now I don't want you to be thinking about him and me at the same time." I said, "There's a problem with that. Let's get that straight. Don't get it twisted." I'm just playing. But the point of it is, there's a human side. But anyway, the point of it is with cologne, once you spray it out, you can't get it back in. Okay, now follow me. Okay, they got it in there some kind of way, but once it comes out, unless it has a refill element to it, it can't go out. In other words, what I'm saying, when you say something good, bad, you can't take it back, even though you meant well. Okay, that's why when you roll up on new members, young adults, kids, everyone, once you can't take it back. Okay, so you need to calibrate, marinate. Is it kingdom building, or is it my personal preference? Okay, is it kingdom building, or is it personal preference? Okay. For example, at my church, when I see my young adults and they got their jewelry on, it don't bother me, not a bit. You know why it don't bother me? Because they're in church every week. Does it bother some of my members? I know it does. Number one, they were raised in the church, and we'll say, well, they know better. Well, maybe they don't. But if they stay in the church and we keep loving them, nurturing them, I promise you, you don't even have, they already know certain things that they don't talk about. If they were raised in the church, they know. I'll back up. It got real quiet right there. Okay, I'm gonna hit a nerve. I'm sorry. Time management. Use your time wisely. Don't let people waste your time. If you're preparing for a meeting, keep the main thing the main thing. Okay? Stay focused. If the meeting is 6 months from now, you just make sure every week you do something, every month you keep everybody on track and you're working towards that, this individual, this, that, and the other. Let me go on quickly. Window of opportunity. With an evangelistic meeting, there's only a window of opportunity. It opens and closes. It opens and closes. Okay? It opens and closes. Sometimes it never to open again. That's life also. Sometimes the Lord will open a window for you, and if you don't step in it and it closes, you may never get that opportunity again. Let me give you a good example. When I was doing my doctoral degree, my dad died, had another situation to come up, and I was doing my doctorate at United Theological Seminary in Dayton, and it was rough. And my Baptist preacher friend said, man, he said, your dad died, and you're going through this other situation. Why don't you just put it on hold? And I thought about it. So I asked him, I said, I noticed that you were studying for a doctorate, but you haven't gotten it yet. He said, well, he stuttered. He said, well, it's been 25 years. So I said, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be like you. So I pushed through it and got through it. Okay. So what I'm saying, if I had stepped back, that window of interest, that window of opportunity might have closed and I wouldn't have been able to get back. Okay. So I'm saying to you as members, as it relates to evangelism, when that window opens, you have to seize it. You have to move and get it done. That is important. And that is the window of opportunity. That's with everything. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Some of you in your own life, some windows have closed and you knew you should have went through it. Okay? We all know that so well. Certain opportunities, yes, it was strenuous, it was difficult, and you just step back. And now you know it's closed. Okay, so that's just not with evangelism, that's with everything. Okay, yeah, life is not easy. Life is not easy. So keep that in mind. The window of opportunity, when you all decide and the pastor come and you all say, the window of the opportunity is there. But if you step back and say, well, let's just wait. It's like when the conference was going to bring Dr. Bird. That was a window. Had nothing to do with me just getting there. That was a window that I knew if I didn't step through, guess what? It would have never happened again. So whatever it took for me to make that happen, I'm willing to do it. So just keep that in mind. Don't compare yourself with don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to another member. You bring to the table what you bring to the table. Whatever it is, I had one member, she said, Pastor, I don't know what I can do in this meeting. I can't do this, I can't do that. I said, you know what, girl? You probably have the best smile in this church. I said, you know what? Today, I'm going to appoint you as the church smiler. Sister Girl could show up and just melt you. Man, I put her on that door. She just was smiling. But check this out. You got to feel me. One of my members came and said, Pastor, who elected her? I said, are you serious? The board didn't vote it. I said, are you crazy? I said, Come on. Why would I take that to the board? That'd be reflection. He said, Pastor's marble's not working right or something. But I said, but I wanted to get her involved. Okay, I wanted to get her involved. Guess what, folks? She was at the meeting every day. At the door. Guess what she was doing? Now, I got to be honest, she was fine, though. So I had some brothers, some brothers start coming that wouldn't have come. Because she was smiling. About 3 brothers got baptized, and one of them ended up marrying her. And somebody said, Pastor, can I be the next smiler? I said, no. I said, it don't work for everybody like that. It don't work like that for everybody. Now I was just impressed. I was just impressed to just appoint her. I can't appoint everybody. I gotta take you to the board. I gotta ask the elder what they think if have a business meeting. They know you better than I do. But anyway, don't compare yourself. Be you. Be you. Be you. Be you. I mean, when I left there, they sat her down. So you can't be the smiler no more. She said, I don't care because I'm married now. She said, I got what I want. So anyway, the Lord will just put humor in your life, and it's like, wow, a church smiler. But then it was just somebody come and ask me when I booked. We didn't take that to the board, did we? To the bank either. Okay, then it says there also, remember, as I said, there's only one of you. One of you. Why? No. Let me go back. Now, what I need you to do, I need to show them, and I'm gonna close out this one, and then we're gonna hasten on, be almost finished. Then there's only one of you. Just think about that for 1 minute, which means you see things different. Okay, and the next slide, I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna prove it to you how different we are and how we see things. Okay, that you just ponder who you are. Just think about right there in your seat, the uniqueness of you, what you bring to the table, the lenses you look through. This next slide, I'm gonna prove it to you. Now, this next slide, I'm gonna go to this next slide. I need you to count. How many letter F's. Okay, give me the instruction. This is some homework. This is just not me talking. This is your assignment. I'm gonna put the next slide up, but don't say it out loud. Just look at the slide and count how many F's, the letter F that you see in this next slide. Okay, and don't say it out. Just keep it in your mind. Then I'm gonna go around and ask each person how many they see, and you're gonna be shocked. I'm telling you right now, it shows you how different. Here we go. Count how many letter F's you see in your mind. No, don't count out loud. I'm gonna send you to the corner. Stand in the corner. I'm gonna punish you. Ugh. Y'all ready? Okay, Elder. How many do you see? He said he sees 6. How many you see? How many you see? He saw 5. Oh, wow. 3? 8. Okay. How many you see? 6. Okay. 5. Okay. 4. Okay. 5. Okay. Okay. Now let me go. Let me just help you. Now I prove my point on them. Check this out. Go count them. I got them underlined. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I share that with you to say how different we see things. Okay, our minds are not trained. When you look at and our minds are not trained to pick those. Somebody said, now I see. 10 minutes later, here it is. The seminar over. It's 10 o'clock at night. Oh, now I see. Oh, see, can you see? Okay, I have them underlined right there. There's 6 of them, but I'm saying that to say how we see things differently. We can be hearing the same thing, seeing the same thing, but our interpretation and our lenses looks at it different. Okay, that's important. Don't forget that. Somebody said, wow, I just saw. One time I did this, somebody said, I just see 2. I said, you need to see me after church so I can pray all over you. I need to have my oil, slap you up upside the head with some oil and what have you. But anyway, that was that. Okay, be the best you. Everybody else is taken. Okay. Any questions? Go to the other presentation, and then we will wind up. But let me take any questions that you all might have. Yes, sir. You came in late. What's your question? Okay. I met you this morning because you asked me for a bus pass, didn't you? Yes, sir. All right. Praise. Amen. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. So the point of this study is, this lesson is team building. You said, Pastor, what does it have to do with evangelism? It's important because guess what? The church has to work together. It goes to what the elder told me, that you all have adopted total involvement. This is total involvement based on your uniqueness. Everybody can do something. I'm gonna go through this one real quick. This is shorter real quick. And this PowerPoint, I'm gonna leave them with the elders. That's the one I just finished. You all can run some copies. Do not pass them out to the end. I'm gonna give you, we'll pass these out at the end, the mustard seed, so you can have that. The cologne, I'm gonna take that back home. So my wife bought it for me. And anyway, quickly, 40 days of prayer and fasting. I am suggesting, hear me, I am suggesting that before you start your meeting, you have 40 days of prayer and fasting before the meeting. Okay, and I'm about to share with you why. 40 days before the meeting, you asked in the entire church to be in prayer and fasting. Okay, that's powerful. Okay, let me break it down for you quickly. The purpose. This involves everything about the church. In this 40 days of prayer before the meeting, we're asking God to do what? Move in what? Our lives. Number 2, our spiritual lives. Number 3, our marriages. Number 4, our families. Number 5, what? Children. All right? Our church and our evangelistic meeting. Everything I just mentioned has to do with the totality of your life. Who wouldn't want to pray for their family and their children? Everybody. Okay? Everybody. Our church. Okay, that's powerful. So we're during these 40 days, we're concentrating on this leading up to the meeting. What does this do? It keeps the church focused on the main thing. Okay, and then it's being reminded every week that this is what we're doing. Okay, and then what I usually do, I follow up during this 40 days prayer meeting is usually dealing with items of this leading up. Okay. Also leading up, usually the sermons are dealing with this. Why? It keeps everybody engaged. It reminds you this is the main thing about our church and the direction we're moving. So you got prayer meeting, you got Sabbath, all of it's moving. You're moving. Then the teams are meeting and so on and so forth. Then the prayer Prayer is the key to calling on the power of the Holy Spirit. Okay? I don't care how good you are, I don't care how good looking you are, how good of a Bible worker you are. If you don't have the Spirit of God, you just sounding brass. That's all you are. Without the power of the Holy Spirit, you are nothing. It is the Holy Spirit that brings conversion. So prayer is the key. So 40 days, prayer becomes the focus. The focus. What does this do? This involves the whole church. Okay. All of this is part of preparing the Bible work, however you want to do it, and what have you. Then you have the prayer exercise. The prayer exercise, I'll mention to that in a minute. This prayer exercise will accomplish. We want to accomplish 10 things during this 40 days. Accomplish 10 things. Number one, got to pray without ceasing. Wow. Can you imagine the whole church in 40 days is that we praying every day corporately? Wow. To know that the children are praying and the youth are praying and every member is sending up prayers towards heaven as we prepare for this meeting. We're praying for our children. We're praying for our marriages. We're praying for our spiritual lives. We're praying for the church. We're praying for every aspect of the meeting. That's powerful. Every day. Wow. Then number two, fast from something. And this is something, this exercise, let me just share this part of it. I didn't mention it, but this exercise that I'm sharing happens, this aspect happens 1 week before the meeting. Okay, because to fast from something for 40 days, we want you to be successful. Okay, so let's make it doable. Okay, so we're talking about the week before the meeting, or you can choose a week in that 40 days to do this. Okay, why do we only want to do a week? Because if you ask me to stay off sweets for 40 days, that's hard. I mean, you see me and I'll be twitching. You know, because that's my challenge. Your challenge might be social media. You know how hard it is for young people to, you don't believe me. Have you ever left your phone at home and turned around and went back home and got it? And didn't think none of it? Or better yet, have you ever, your battery died? And you stopped at every gas station to see if they had a charger. You couldn't do, so I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it real. You have to choose something that would be a challenge to you. Okay? It would be a challenge. See, for me, social media wouldn't be a problem. Okay? But sweets would be well, bring it on. I got something for that. It's called walking. It's called walking. I walk 3 miles a day and drink a whole lot of water. But what I'm saying is to choose something that it would be a challenge for you. That's the point. That's a week in that, not the whole 40 days, but a week within that, whenever that is assigned. That's critical because it focuses the whole church, and even the kids can get involved. I mean, the video games. I mean, that's real. I mean that ain't no joke. It may not be a big deal for you. I remember my grandkids were small, and we were in Ohio, and we were coming to walk to Disney in Florida, and they were excited about seeing Mickey, and we thought about the driving from Ohio all the way to Orlando with 2 granddaughters. We wanted to figure out how we gonna occupy them. Because we hadn't even left Columbus. Are we there yet? Are we there? I said, we need to take you back to your mama and drop you off. We ain't gonna do this with you. And then the mother was not, she didn't want to go because she didn't like driving that far. So she wanted to fly and meet us. And our grandparents, we gullible for anything. So we went with them. So anyway, my wife and I, we gave them our iPad sitting in the back. And we didn't even know they was in the car. We didn't even know they were in the car. We had to turn around and say, it's time for a bathroom break. Because they were just fixated on whatever. They were locked. And I'm just saying, for a child to put this down. So what I'm saying is choose something that for you is a challenge. You know what that is for you. You know what that is. During that 1 week. And basically what fasting is just a concentration towards God. God, be with my family. Be with my children. Be with my struggles. Be with the meeting. Be with my church. Be with my team that I'll be working with. You talking about the whole church concentrated, and you know during that 1 week, everybody is resistant. If I was here, I'd be like, somebody said, here go coconut cake. I'd be looking. I said, well, I'll take it. I'm going to freeze it. I'm going to freeze it till these 7 days over. I'm about to throw that out. Give me, I just won't eat it, but I'm going to freeze it. I'm going to be faithful, but I ain't going to pass it up. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. I'm just being me. I'm going to freeze it because somebody said you're going to freeze it. It tastes like it's fresh. Okay, y'all leave me alone. Y'all leave me alone. He said what? Okay, anyway, fast from something. Special prayer session on Sabbath during the 40 days. You choose a few Sabbaths where right after church, not a long time, the whole church stays by for prayer for 10 minutes. We just pray together about the meeting, about our families, and what we're praying for. Maybe 3 or 4 times in that 40 days to keep everybody focused. That's powerful. Okay, we hear the word, we do whatever, and we're going to stay by, close off the service, shut down the the virtual space, and we just here for just 10 minutes or 7 minutes for a prayer by one of the elders or one of the prayer leaders or some designated team to pray. Okay, that's powerful, keeps us focused. The other thing is attend prayer meeting during the 40 days. Okay, somebody said, well, prayer meeting ain't my thing. Okay, well, during the 40 days, it's like in Bethany, right now we're not meeting in the church, so we do it on Zoom and we do it on the prayer line. Okay, which means no matter where you are, I have members that are at work and they have it on, have their earpiece in, what have you. So during the 40 days, we make a concerted effort to try and be on prayer meeting during that time. And during that time, we're talking about evangelistic things to help us prepare. And then participate in turning in at least 10 names, 5 to 10 names of individuals that you want to see in the kingdom. Now, I don't know about you. We said, man, being in the kingdom, that's deep. I mean, first thing comes to our mind is our children, our grandchildren, our siblings, our relatives, co-workers, what have you, but turn in those names. And the beauty of that is you turn in those names along with name, addresses. Emails are critical because you want to be able to email the entire list, an invitation, a flyer, or what have you, and you'll give them a personal invitation, and that will be helpful also. Then on top of that, you move on to number 6. Seek God in prayer about your request every day for at least 15 minutes through prayer and reflection. So that 1 week that we're praying and fasting, I'm making you can pray longer, but again, we want you to pray so you can do it. Okay, some of us may not be used to praying, and for me to ask you to pray a whole hour, we'd be like, I'm asleep or whatever. So, but 15 minutes to pray for your family, pray for your spiritual needs, pray for your church, pray for the meeting, just that week. So you're fasting from something, and then every day you're saying that during this time, I'm going to just send up a prayer. And you could be at work at a desk. In your mind, you're praying. While you're driving to work, you're praying. You're paying attention, but you're praying. Okay? So that just helps you to be concentrated about what your request is. Okay? Okay, that is important. Okay. Then number 7, you got to participate. You got to show up. You got to do something. And I promise you, in your church, if you go to the pastor when he gets here, you go to your able elders, the first elder, and ask, what can I do? I promise you, they will be able to give you something to do. And matter of fact, you may not have a position, but you like working with this person. Go to them and say, can I work with you? Okay, whatever that is. So you gotta volunteer. You gotta commit resources. Usually, like I told you, usually the conference, they do what they can. They try to give whatever, but usually, for me, let me just tell you what. Usually, every year they give me the same thing. Okay, that's ever since I've been at Lighthouse 6 years ago. They give me the same amount, $7,500. That's what they gave me. They gave it $7,500 to me this year, last year. It's always the same. So I know if I bring in some Bible workers from outside, I bring an evangelist in, you got travel, you got hotels, you got all those things that you deal with that when you run a meeting, which means the resources has to come from somewhere. Okay. And I promise you, if you start early enough, the members will always come to the rescue. Okay. When we baptize, the thing is, the more organized you are and people understand and they have all the information, they don't mind giving. Okay? Like all this stuff that I share with you, if you actually going through that and you know that giving resources, you wouldn't have no problem because you know what's going down. Number one, I'm asking you to be a part of it, and this is what you already know up front what the conference is going to do. If sometimes they don't do anything, if there's two churches, you have to alternate between that church and this, that, and the other. But still, nothing stops evangelism. A lot of times we ain't got no money. Well, it don't cost money to invite people. You may not be able to do it all like you want, but you can do something. Okay, but resources are important and what have you, and that is important. And then just going quickly, attend the church rally, usually before the meeting. Usually I have at least two rallies where we go through everything. We get a report from the ushers. We get a report from the elders who are over we get a report from IT. We get a report from everyone so we know where we are. And then we ask, is there anything that you need? Okay, so you want us to be successful. That means you have to be willing to help and give the resources that I need. For example, if IT say, well, Pastor, just to sharpen up, our lighting or we may need another computer. I said, well, let me take it under advisement and see what we can do. Okay, we get to the budget and the church said, we don't have the money. Okay, I received that. There's no money. Guess what I do? I get on the phone, and that lady that gave $5,000, one of the members that I know, I said, we about to go into this meeting, and we need some help in this area. Just calling to see if there's anything you can do. And he said, Pastor, how much is it going to cost? Well, this computer that the IT they want to get one that will not only be used for the meeting, but will take the whole service to the next level. They said, well, it's going to cost $1,500. Okay, Pastor, I'll put it in this week. There are members in all churches that can do that. Okay, and a lot of times as the pastor, because I don't always depend on what my wife and I get together and we'll just take care of it. Nothing stops ministry. Okay, this thing in Dominican Republic sponsoring this church, my wife and I said, well, let's sometimes you have to get the pump going. My wife and I said, we're going to donate $1,000 just to get, and then, the pastor will give $1,000. I ain't gonna let the pastor outgive me. They don't make much money. She said, I'll give $5,000. I said, well, I put in $1,000. You want to meet me or you want to raise it? I'll match you or whatever. But anyway, you attend the rallies, go over everything, and then plan on as much as possible to attend the meeting. Now, remember, the meeting is not for 365 days. You already know the dates. You already know your schedule. And you got to remember what I said. You got to do what? Everybody has to stretch, which means I'm working 8 to 5. I'm tired, but for 2 weeks or 3 weeks of the meeting. So what I do, I go to work and then I come to the meeting. I'm tired. 3 weeks. That's the commitment. Okay, well, I'm tired. Well, everybody's tired. The pastor's tired. The elder's tired. The IT tired. The pianists are tired. Everybody's tired. Guess what we can do? We can rest when the meeting over. Okay, 3 weeks. 3 weeks out of a year to save souls. And guess, it might be somebody in your family. It's worth it. Okay, let me participate in track day. If there's a track day, invite 5 individuals to the meeting. If they give you tracks, pass them out. Don't do like the pastor, go to Walmart and put them in the basket. So that's an easy one, Pastor. Just throw them all in there. So participate in track day for our young adults. Social media, post it. Where you get your hair and nails done. Ask, can you leave some flyers? Your doctors, dentists get permission to leave them here and there. Go to the laundromat, wherever those places are, and leave them. Pass them out in your neighborhood, so on and so forth. Then number 10, be ready for the Holy Spirit to fall on you. Wow. Be ready for the Holy Spirit to fall on you. And if you notice now, in closing, I never said anything about numbers. Okay, now do understand evangelism is strictly numbers. Okay, but it's the Holy Spirit that decides that. But hear me, you got to give the Holy Spirit something to work with. Okay, let me explain. I go out to San Diego, I meet with the Bible workers before they go out. I said, look, it's a numbers game. Okay, if you only reach 10 people, the chances of those all 10 coming is slim to none. But if you reach 100 people, my numbers go up. If I reach 500 people, my numbers go up. So it is a numbers game. So as members, you have the Bible workers, you have the members, you have social media. So if the church has reached 500 to 700 people, out of those 500 or 700 people, let's say 50 of them come. That's a good number. But look what work went in. Everybody pitched in. You have 50 people that are not members of this church that attend. You have another 100 on social media that are young people pointed. And then it comes down to the evangelist or the pastor delivering the word, and the Holy Spirit will bring the fruit, the harvest. What it will be, it's up to him. It's totally up to him. So I don't trip over numbers. I just make sure that I've done what I was supposed to do. I left it on the field. I think that's the last one. Is that it? I think so. Oh, no. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on this? So as far as the Bible work part of it, you have to do what you can do in your own armor. Some folks have that gift to engage people. Everyone doesn't have that gift, but everybody can do something. I may not be able to go out and engage door to door, but I can give flyers to my family, to my relatives, to my hairdresser, my doctor. I can invite 10 people. I can give finances to help the meeting. I can serve in that capacity. I'm still part of the team. Okay? Of course, you all have Bible workers, I understand, that have been trained, and they will be the boots on the streets to take lessons and so. But even with them, you got to have someone to manage them. Just like in San Diego, even though I'm not there, I met with them every Tuesday and Wednesday on Zoom. I call them, we get on Zoom, and I ask them, how many contacts have they made today? How many Bible studies do they have? Each Bible worker gives me their numbers. Okay, and then because I've done this so long, I can sense that there are certain things that they need to change. So I'll share some strategies. I said, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to do A, B, and C. I understand the territory is spread out, this, that, and the other. We need to get with the pastor, get a map, and we need to zero in on some different territory. So, but you don't wait till the end of the meeting and decide that. We decided that the second week. So they shifted. So then we had the meetings this past week. Guess what? The numbers went up. The numbers went up automatically. But somebody has to check and verify. Just don't assume. I remember I was running a meeting somewhere. I had 4 Bible workers happened to be driving around, and one of them was in the parking lot just asleep. I got up, I kind of knocked on the door. I said, "How you doing?" "Oh, Pastor, I am tired." I said, "No big deal," which means that at this time of day, I'm sure the reason you're resting is because your people are not available. That's right, Pastor. Which means that your people are available in the evening, which they probably was. Because, you got to know your people. Some are working. So she said, "Yeah, in the evening, I usually work from like 5 to 9. Okay, so you have to manage your time. I just happen to roll up, and as the one managing, I just need to know, what's going on. So all of that is important. All of that is important to check and verify with individuals to make sure that everything is happening. Any questions? Okay, if you come down after we pray and close, you can get your mustard seed that I talked about. So you can get that and remember the illustrations with this. There's another handout that you can also pick up that deals with the Optimist Creed. The Optimist Creed, it says to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel there is something worthwhile in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, and so on and so forth. So you can get that also. I think that's everything else that I brought. Any questions? Any areas I need to cover, Elder? Since you invited me, any questions? Anything you want me to cover? Any questions? I didn't think we was gonna make it to 6, but we're here. We're here. Thank you for staying by and for taking this journey. Hopefully you've learned something. And if there's anything I can do to work with you, please let me know. Elder.
What do you say, church? We say thank you to Pastor for coming since this morning and until now, as we expected it, and it happened. It has happened, and we are happy for the